Chapter 783. Seeing Fangya leave in such a luxurious car, Vivian felt embarrassed. Humph, she's not as good as she is now, isn't she? He drives a Porsche Cayenne. Look at you. Isn't it just an Audi A6? Why did you pretend to be so big in front of him? Are you embarrassed now? You've embarrassed me in front of Fangya. Baby, don't be angry. Listen to me. Look at that guy's clothes. Does he look like someone who drives a Cayenne? Vivian's husband said, I'll be frank. This guy is probably the boss's driver. The car belongs to the boss. He just drove it out to pretend. Do you really believe it? Whether he's pretending or not, I've lost face in front of Fangya. How can I get it back? Humph, even if he drives the boss's car, she has the right to say that her boyfriend drives a Cayenne in front of me. My boyfriend drives a lousy A6. The more Vivian said, the angrier she became. The Audi A6 that she was proud of was degraded in front of a high-end luxury car. There was a saying, comparisons are odious. Cars were a means of transportation. Those who had money could buy a better car, and those who didn't have money could buy a cheaper one. Wasn't it just a car? Even if you drove a 7 Series A8 or a new Mercedes-Benz S-Class, it was nothing in front of a Bentley or a Rolls-Royce. Even if all the Bentleys and Rolls-Royces were added together, they couldn't buy a Bugatti sports car. Even if they could afford a Bugatti, there were also rich people who drove Apache helicopters to travel between the beach and the ocean every day. Therefore, there was no end to this competition. Vivian used to think that her A6 was very impressive, but that was because the husbands of her friends were at most at this level. Of course, she couldn't accept the fact that there was someone who beat them in seconds. This was the reason why comparisons were odious. Listen to me. Believe me. Let's follow them now. I guarantee that the guy doesn't even know how to get to the bar on the 88th floor of Shinkai. Vivian's husband said, But we will go. Where will we go? We will drink wine that costs 120,000 yuan a bottle. At that time, you can call Fangya and ask her why she and that kid aren't at the bar. Then you'll be able to regain your face. Now Weiwei was not the only one who wanted to regain her dignity. Her husband also wanted to regain his dignity. Then what are we waiting for? Hurry up and drive. Vivian was in a hurry, but her husband scratched the Audi F-Egg parked next to them. The owner of the car happened to come out and saw it. He had no choice but to pay 500 yuan for nothing. He drove the scratched car straight to Shinkai Hotel. Fangya sat in the car and looked at Lin Gu in surprise. I didn't expect you to be so rich. If I knew you were so rich, I probably wouldn't have asked you out. Why? Lin Gu was stunned for a moment. Didn't you say that you want to thank me? What does this have to do with whether I am rich or not? Do I have to be poor for you to treat me to a glass of shui ding and a sundae? Because we are at different levels. I really don't know how to thank you rich people. Fangya said. Just like now, I can't afford to treat you to a drink at the bar on the 88th floor of Shinkai. I don't know how to thank you. Lin Gu smiled. You don't have to pay for it really. Then I don't know how to say it. I just think that you don't have to spend more than 100,000 yuan to open a bottle of wine, just to compare with them. It is too wasteful. Fangya said, I don't care what others think of me, and I don't care how others compare with me. Lin Gu paused for a moment and said, Can't you see that your little sister is stepping on you to show off? You don't care? It really doesn't matter. Fangya said, Whether you are happy or not, only you will know. There is no need to live to cater to others. It is like the choice between crying in a BMW and laughing behind a bicycle. Some people who lose everything for money may choose to cry in a BMW. I am not that kind of person. I know that life is beautiful only when you are happy. This happiness is not something that money can buy. Lin Gu smiled. He didn't expect Fangya to think that way. It doesn't matter if you like it today or not. I've decided to take you to the bar for a drink. Of course, I must say that I am not a money worshipper, nor am I a luxury worshipper. I will take you to the top floor of Shinkai for a drink, because I don't have to pay for it. Otherwise, I would be reluctant. More than 100,000 yuan is enough for the living expenses of a few hundred people in a mountain village. Fangya stared at Lin Gu with her eyes wide open. She was really confused by Lin Gu. What did he mean? In the end, Fangya was taken to the bar on the 88th floor of Xingkai Hotel by Lin Ge. This was the most expensive place to drink in Xinjiang. There was a reason why it was expensive. Who asked this place to have a panoramic view of the entire Xinjiang? Who asked this place to have the most beautiful night view of the metropolis of Xinjiang? Io, brother Shaolin, what wind blew you up here? Su Yin arranged the matters of the bar for Lu Feng to handle, so Lu Feng would spend a few hours in the bar every night. He also enjoyed being in charge of this place. The feeling of being in a high position made him feel good. Lin Ge smiled embarrassedly. I brought a friend here. Hee, your girlfriend? Lu Feng smiled. What do you want to drink? Just tell Brother Feng. Brother Feng will prepare it immediately. Lin Ge glanced at Fangya. What do you want to drink? Just order. Fangya looked at Lin Ge in disbelief. Just order? Aren't you afraid that I will drink until you go bankrupt? Ha ha ha, beauty. It seems that you don't know our brother Shaolin very well. You can just order whatever you want in this place. Lu Feng said. I'm not afraid that you will go bankrupt. I'm just afraid that you won't drink and not give me face. Fangya looked at the drink list and finally shook her head. She had never ordered such expensive things in her life. The sky-high price of the wine here was really too expensive. Brother Feng, I think you can just order whatever you want. Lin Ge said. We are not here to drink. We are just chatting. Okay, Lu Feng said. Then I will give you a bottle of Persian red wine from the cellar. Haha, ordinary people can't buy it even if they have money. Generally, the quality and taste is 680,000 yuan per bottle. I will give you the best quality. Lu Feng didn't give them a chance to refuse. He directly asked someone to get the wine. At this time, Wei Wei and her husband also came. Obviously, her husband was very surprised. Fangya really appeared in this place with this kid to drink. Can he really afford to drink? Are you kidding me? Brother Shaolin, you can find a place to sit. Lu Feng said and went forward to greet the two new guests. Please come in. Lin Ge suddenly smiled. Brother Feng, you don't have to greet us. We know each other. Just sit with us. Wei Wei's husband saw that Lin Ge was so familiar with the supervisor here. He was a little uncertain in his heart. But now he couldn't lose face. Then let's drink together. We are all friends. I will pay the bill today. This is not necessary. Lin Ge said. You don't have to be so polite. Wei Wei's husband waved his hand generously. In comparison, I don't think it is a burden for me to open a bottle of wine. As soon as he finished speaking, the wine came. Lu Feng took it and personally poured wine for Lin Ge. This is a Persian red wine that has been collected for half a century. Haha, a bottle is equal to an Audi A8. Whoosh. This time Wei Wei's husband was really crazy. He stared at Lin Ge with his eyes wide open. He thought to himself, is this kid crazy? Drinking wine that is worth millions of yuan. God. He is crazy. Wei Wei couldn't stay calm. Her husband's car was an A6. Now he had to drink a bottle of wine that was more expensive than an A8. Isn't this killing him? Sorry, I don't like to drink red wine. Wei Wei's husband stood up and said, I will drink something else. Lin Ge said disdainfully, okay, you don't have to pay. Don't be nervous. Your forehead is sweating. Is it necessary? It is just a bottle of wine. You are ruthless, you are good. Wei Wei's husband finally stopped suppressing his frustration. You are rich, okay? But I am not a fool. I will drink a bottle of wine for millions of yuan just to give you face. If you want face, I will give it to you. You pay the bill yourself. Before Wei Wei's husband turned around and left, Lu Feng blocked his way like a door god. What are you shouting for? Do you know where this is? It is not your turn to behave atrociously. Our brother Lin is just drinking a bottle of wine. Does he need to pay the bill? Are you kidding? With one word from him, this hotel will only serve him and the girl beside him. This is not a matter of money. Kid, this is called face. Do you understand? Lu Feng was a person who had been in society for a long time. How could he not see this small matter of comparison? You. The customer is God. Wei Wei's husband said angrily. If you pay the bill for this bottle of Persian red wine, you are God. If you can't afford it, then you are bullsh*t. Lu Feng spat. Get lost. Don't let me see you in Shinkai. If you don't have enough money in your pocket, don't come to this hotel and pretend to be a big boss. Do you understand? Wei Wei swore that she had never been so embarrassed in her life. Fang Ye's boyfriend was like the crown prince of this hotel. He drank a bottle of wine that cost 1,000,000 yuan and had people flattering him. Her husband, on the other hand, was being pointed at his nose and scolded because he could not afford the bill. Wei Wei could not stand this kind of blow and left angrily. Her embarrassing husband also took the opportunity to chase a woman out of the hotel. Wife, wait for me. I will take you to the riverside. Let's enjoy the sea breeze, okay? Get lost. Don't call me wife again. You can call me that when you have money and face to sit in this hotel and ask people to pour wine for you. Wei Wei roared angrily. The man was unhappy. T. What are you pretending for? Do you think you are a good person? If I didn't have some money, would you have slept with me? If I could drink a bottle of wine that cost 1,000,000 yuan, I would have married Ling Jiling. I would King want you. Why don't you look in the mirror and see what kind of person you are? King Black Fungus. After saying that, he felt that he was scolding himself and quickly changed his words. Hurry up and get rid of them. Don't embarrass yourself in Shinkai. Lu Feng waved his hand and asked a few security guards to do it. The noise and filthy mouth really affected the elegant and luxurious atmosphere of the hotel. It was too bad. Fang Ye shook her head helplessly. I really don't know how to drink this wine. Just drink it like cola, Lin Ge said. If you don't drink it, then it has no value. Who cares? It's all the same to me. Just think of it as me wasting God's gift. After saying that, Lin Ge directly drank it like beer. Chapter 784. Lin Ji's first date could be said to be quite successful. Nice car, good wine, and the company of a beautiful woman. This kind of thing would make anyone excited for a long time. After drinking half a bottle of the priceless red wine, Lin Ge also relaxed a lot in front of Fang Ye. Although Fang Ye was very curious about Lin Ge, she knew how to deal with the problem of politeness, so she didn't ask anything. She just talked to Lin Ge about her family situation, her parents' health, and her work. Fang Ye's family situation was good. She also talked about some things about the airline company, her favorite music, favorite movies, and favorite basketball stars and soccer players. Lin Ge was like a listener most of the time, because he didn't know what to talk about. Talk about how he was scolded when he was young on the island in the Caribbean Sea? Talk about how he survived the crisis on the island when he was 10 years old? How can he complete the mission after he was 18 years old? Oh God, if he finished, he would probably scare the girl away. I've said so much. Are you not going to tell me about yourself? We are friends, so we have to be honest, right? You should be able to see that I asked you out because I like you. Fang Ye finally couldn't help but say it. She always felt that Lin Ge would talk about himself. Compared to talking, Lin Ge seemed to prefer listening. But Fang Ye felt that if they wanted to be in a relationship, they should at least have a basic understanding of each other, right? Lin Ge was silent for dozens of seconds before he finally opened his mouth. I don't know what to say. We are not people from the same world. You were the apple of your parents' eye when you were young. And I am an orphan who can't even remember what my parents looked like. You have a stable job in the airline company, but I am destined to never be like you. Fang Ye, we are not suitable. Fang Ye's expression was a little surprised. She didn't think that Lin Ji's background was so pitiful. A child without parents. The pain in his heart was something that a child from a normal family could never understand. I'm sorry. Fang Ye didn't know what to say for a moment, and the atmosphere at the scene fell into a rather awkward situation. Lin Ge got up and made a decision. It's getting late. I'll send you back. Some things should be decided immediately. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good for anyone if they fell deeper and deeper. Lin Ge believed that Fang Ye was a good girl. She would definitely be able to find her own happiness, and the happiness she needed was something he couldn't give her. Fang Ye was slightly stunned. She wanted to say something, but she didn't. No, you drank. I'll take a taxi. After that, Fang Ye walked to Lu Feng and said, Manager, can you help him call a designated driver? Without waiting for Lu Feng to ask about the situation, Fangya left directly. Lu Feng looked back blankly at Lin Ge. Lin Ge didn't react. He stared at the half bottle of red wine in front of him without blinking. Lu Feng didn't know how to solve it. He could only hurry up and dial Su Yin's phone number. This matter had to be solved by Brother Yin. Others couldn't solve it. 10 minutes later, Su Yin appeared in the lounge. Seeing the half bottle of Persian red wine, he grinned and said to Lu Feng with heartache, "You're really generous. Isn't it a waste to let him drink this wine? Pigeon has never been a drinker since he was a child. Even if you gave him 10 yuan a bottle of wine, he would still taste the same in his mouth. Didn't we want to give face to our own people?" Lu Feng scratched his head. Who knew that the girl would run away in the end? This bamboo basket to draw water is in vain. I also regret opening this bottle. There are 60 bottles left in the wine cellar. Drinking one bottle is one bottle less. What's the situation? Su Yin sat in front of Lin Ge. He picked up the bottle and poured himself a glass. Anyway, the wine had been opened. It would be a waste if he didn't drink it. Letting Lin Ge drink it would be a waste. It was better to let himself be extravagant. Lin Ge shook his head indifferently. Nothing. I just don't want to waste her time. But you've already wasted her time by doing this. Su Yin. Do you know what kind of person the girl despises the most? The kind of bastard who breaks into her heart and then runs away. You say, the girl's heart has been opened. How long will it take to close it? A man has to bear this responsibility. What can I give her? Lin Ge was stunned. He looked at Su Yin puzzledly. I'm afraid I can't give her anything except making her worry. Su Yin took a sip of wine. You're right. But if you miss it, you can't even make her worry. If she marries someone she doesn't even bother to worry about, do you think she will be happy? In today's society, there are very few girls whose first impression is not material. Don't be stupid. Brother Yin is right. Since both sides are in love, why bother about trifles? Lu Feng said. If you say so, those professional soldiers don't need to marry. Every time they go out on a mission, it's dangerous. Wouldn't the military wives worry about them every day? Su Yin patted Lin Ji's shoulder. When you know that someone is worried about you, you will be more careful, more cautious, and know how to cherish yourself. Because at that time, you don't only belong to yourself. Do you understand what I mean? Lin Ge nodded. I understand. Brother, I'll go after her now. Wait, the girl said you can't drink and drive. If you drive after her, won't you lose points for your image? Lu Feng was quite considerate sometimes. If you ask me, you should wait for a while. It's not too late for you to call and explain when the girl gets home. Then how do I explain? Lin Ge was stunned. He had no experience in chasing girls. Lu Feng shook his head. He couldn't teach him this. His marriage with his wife was introduced by his family. It was more or less arranged by his parents. It was not free love at all. Su Yin pointed downstairs. I'm afraid you need to ask a woman for advice. Lin Suyin and Qin Wan'er are in the room. Su Yin looked at his watch. They must not be asleep at this time. You can ask them for advice. Maybe it'll be settled. Lin Ge ran to the elevator. Su Yin asked Lu Feng to sit down. This wine can't be wasted. Call Chang and the others to come up and try it. Okay. Lu Feng nodded and took out his phone. They hadn't had a drink with Su Yin for a long time. Fangya had just entered the house when she felt the meaningful smile on her parents' faces. Phew. Fangya's father seemed to be relieved. He muttered to himself. I thought you wouldn't come back. I was so worried. You're an antique. What era are we in now? Fangya's mother said. Your daughter is already so old. Do you still want her to stay at home and never get married? I think that young man is quite good. Fangya's eyes widened. She looked at her mother and said, Mom, what do you mean? Fangya, didn't you say you were going to thank the young man on the plane? Fangya's father said, Your mother and I went out for a walk. We happened to see you at KFC. Haha, I think you met Wei Wei and her boyfriend, right? Fangya's mother said proudly, I'm going to find Wei Wei's mother tomorrow. Let's see if she still dares to show off her sixth son-in-law in front of me. I'll let her ask Wei Wei herself. I'll let her know that the son-in-law Fangya found for me drives a Porsche. TSK, TSK, TSK. You're so materialistic and competitive at your age. What's the point? Fang Ye's father said helplessly. You followed me. Fang Ye's eyes widened. Dad, how could you let Mom do something like this? If that's the case, I won't be able to keep any secrets from you. Fang Ye's mother glared. What are you talking about? What do you mean by following you? We just happened to pass by. Really? Fang Ye didn't believe her mother's words. It was really a coincidence. Fang Ye's father tried to cover for her. However, as a father, he was obviously worried about his daughter. He asked tentatively, why didn't you eat KFC? Did you go to Xingkai Hotel? Did he do anything to you? Fang Ye was speechless. How could this be a coincidence? How could this be called not following her? They even knew where she went, but they still didn't admit to following her. However, when she thought about how her family was worried about her and wanted her own good, she could only shake her head helplessly. Don't think too much. I'm not that kind of person. When we went to Xingkai, we just sat at the top floor's lounge. There was nothing like what you're thinking. Fang Ye really had to explain herself. Mom. Especially you, don't think too much. Fang Ye's mother widened her eyes exaggeratedly. The lounge on the top floor of Xingkai is said to be very luxurious. The cheapest bottle of wine costs more than 100,000 yuan. He can afford it? What does he do? Fang Ye, you have to tell me clearly. I'm not that kind of materialistic person. Let's look at his character and family background first. All right, Mom, don't ask anymore. Fang Ye said helplessly. If I tell you that we drank wine that costs more than 1,000,000 yuan, will you be satisfied? That's not what I meant. Fang Ye's mother was really shocked. How rich was this kid's family to drink wine that cost more than 1,000,000 yuan? However, Fang Ye directly destroyed her mother's fantasy. But it's impossible between us because we're not the same kind of person. If I knew that he was so rich, I wouldn't have gone on a date with him. I'm not destined to marry into a rich family. Don't think too much about it. After saying that, Fang Ye got up and went back to her room and locked the door. Fang Ye's mother was so angry that she huffed and puffed. Stupid girl. Does money have a grudge against you? What's wrong with being rich? When I didn't let you go on a date before, you kept saying that this young man was a good Samaritan, and that he must be a good person. Why did you turn against him the moment you found out that he's rich? What kind of temper is this? I really don't know whose side you're on. I'm not on your side. Fang Ye's father glared at his mother. Can you not worry about the child's matters? Are you her biological father? Do you know how old your daughter is? 26. Fang Ye's mother said. We're not comparing ourselves to those unmarried women in their 30s. Let me tell you, old Fang, the truly rich definitely prefer young women. Women who are over 25 are getting worse by the day. If we keep waiting, it'll get harder and harder to find one. A few years ago, leftover women were considered to have good taste and magnanimity. They didn't live for men. But it's different now. There are so many leftover women that they don't care about them anymore. Everyone knows that society is more open now. Who knows how many men old leftover women have been with? Do you think that rich men these days are stupid and don't want a young and innocent woman? Fang Ye's father waved his hand. Forget it, forget it. I have nothing to say to you. Chapter 785. The next morning, Su Yin went out with Qin Wan, to pick up Yifala. When Lu Hong saw Su Yin again, he was very respectful. He didn't dare to do anything in front of Su Yin. Director Lu, long time no see. How have you been? Su Yin smiled and said, Have you been on a diet recently? You've lost a lot of weight. Lu Hong had a flattering smile on his face. No. If I could have Boss Su's figure, I would be willing to do anything. Ha ha ha, Boss Su, you must be joking. I will go and sign the documents now. You can take Miss Yi away immediately. I just arrived, and Director Lu is already in a hurry to send me off. Su Yin thought to himself, this guy is really afraid of me. He probably doesn't even want to see me for a minute. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so efficient and proactive. Then I'll have to trouble you, Director Lu. Lu Hong shook his head. Boss Su, what are you talking about? It's my great honor that you can come. It's just that my place is full of prisoners. It's a foul atmosphere. I'm afraid that Boss Sue won't be able to adapt. I definitely don't mean to chase you away. Haha, don't misunderstand. Also, Miss Yi definitely wants to leave this place as soon as possible. Su-yin didn't talk nonsense with him. After Lu Hong signed the final documents, he asked someone to bring Yi Fala out. Yi Fala was already very satisfied that Su-yin could come and pick her up. After saying goodbye to Lu Hong and the prison, Yi Fala looked at the sunlight outside the car window with a bright smile. You're finally out. How do you plan to relax? Where do you want to go for a vacation? Su-yin joked. Yi Fala looked at the GPS device on her ankle and said, My range of activity is within a radius of 30 kilometers. Once I leave this range, there will immediately be special police agents to send me back to prison. Although it seems like I'm free, I'm still serving my sentence. It's already good that I'm out. I just hope that there will be more interesting things built within this radius of 30 kilometers. Otherwise, I'll really be bored to death. Su-yin drove Yi Fala back to Shinkai Hotel. When the employees of Shinkai saw Yi Fala, they were as shocked as if they had seen Mars colliding with the moon. Yi Fala's big case had been reported on television and newspapers. This matter could be said to be known by everyone in Xinjiang. It feels good to see you guys again. Yi Fala smiled. Let me make it clear first. I didn't break out of prison. Even if you call the police, there's no reward. I'm just serving my sentence outside the prison. I have nowhere to go, so I can only return to our hotel to stay for a while. You won't be unwelcome, right? A round of applause rang out. Someone had already taken the lead to shout out a welcome. Although Yi Fala had committed a heinous crime against society, she had never owed the hotel employees anything. The employees of Shinkai received the highest salary in the hotel industry and enjoyed the best benefits. All of this was brought to them by Yi Fala. Therefore, regardless of whether Yi Fala had committed a crime or not, in the eyes of the employees of Shinkai, she would always be a competent and good boss. A good boss who was considerate and fastidious. Now that you're back, everyone is more motivated. Su-yin, you should prepare to bring Shinkai back. Yi Fala smiled bitterly. If I had this power, I would definitely not hesitate to let you prepare the contract to sign. Unfortunately, I don't have this power. Even if you draft a transfer contract and I sign it, it doesn't have any legal effect. It won't take effect. Su-yin disagreed. Who cares if it takes effect or not? Do you have to sign that contract? It seems that your brain has really become stupid during this period of time. Rules are dead, but people are alive. Maybe. After all, there are many rules in prison. Yi Fala glanced at Su-yin. I know what you mean, and I understand your good intentions. Don't worry. Even if Shinkai doesn't belong to me forever, it's still the crystallization of my hard work. Since I have time, and I can only stay in Xinjiang, I'm naturally willing to do anything for Shinkai. The two of them went to the CEO's office on the 6th floor. Yi Fala hadn't returned to this place for a long time. She was quite emotional. This is the name list of the people in charge of the various departments. Many of them are my brothers from Hudong. They are trustworthy and capable. Su-yin, I'm afraid we'll really have to trouble you during this period of time. Where are you planning to go to have fun? I heard from Qinwan that you went to Taibai. How's it going? Yi Fala said lightly. At this moment, Lin Suyin knocked on the door of the CEO's office. Then she pushed the door open and walked in. She smiled slightly. This sister is the friend you mentioned yesterday, right? The hotel is hers? Yes, she's called Yi Fala. You can call her CEO Yi or Sister Yi. Su-yin. Oh right, how did you know I'm here? I asked around. After Lin Suyin finished speaking, she looked at Yi Fala curiously. Su-yin introduced her to Yi Fala. Lin Suyin, the precious daughter of the Three Lotus Association's President Lin. Recently, a lot of unpleasant things happened in Taibai. She came to the mainland with me to relax. Yi Fala nodded. She could read a lot of information from Su-yin's words. She nodded and said to Lin Suyin, My condolences. Lin Suyin was startled. This woman was so smart. Thank you for your concern, CEO Yi. From the way Lin Suyin addressed Yi Fala, it could be seen that she was protecting herself and being vigilant against others. between CEO Yi and Sister Yi. She chose a more unfamiliar address. You're welcome. Yi Fala said. Miss Lin, although I don't know what relationship you have with Su Yun, I hope you don't misunderstand my relationship with Su Yun. I'm just a prisoner serving a sentence outside the prison. The only thing I want is freedom. What love? It's far less important to me than freedom. So you don't have to be jealous of me. Hee, if you're so jealous, then you've found the wrong person. The person Su Yun cares about isn't in Xinjiang right now. Su Yun looked at Yi Fala helplessly. Are you planting seeds for me? It had to be said that Yi Fala's words changed Lin Suin's impression of her. Sister Yi, Su Yun never told me anything about him. Does he have a lot of girlfriends? You can say that. But I don't know how many people he has in his heart. Yi Fala smiled. However, there's one thing I can be sure of. There are a lot of girls who like him. If you join them, then the competition will be very fierce. Does the competition include you? Lin Suin said bluntly. Yi Fala shrugged. I can be said to be the loser of the competition? Isn't that right, Su Yin? Say something. Can't you two talk about something more meaningful? Su Yin, how about this? Since you two have so much in common, then you two can have a good chat. I won't disturb you two. Easy, I have something to do these 2 days. I'll leave Lin Suin to you. Where are you going? I'll go with you. Lin Suin wasn't willing. Su Yin shook his head. You stay here. If I'm going to play, I'll definitely bring you along. But this isn't going to play. I have something to do. So stay here obediently and have a good chat with your sister Yizi. Let your sister Yizi expose my shortcomings. Even if you don't let me go, you have to let me know where you're going, right? Lin Suin still didn't give up. Lunan. Su Yin didn't have anything to hide. What are you going to do? Lin Suin asked. Su Yin looked at Lin Suin seriously and said, Of course I have to find a way to find Lung Chun. Even if Su Yin was very clear that once Lung Chun recovered from his injuries, he would definitely take the initiative to find him, but by then everything would be too late. He had to take the initiative to attack. Before things got bad to the point where he was badly battered, he had to deal with it properly, while Lung Chun was still recuperating, and before Lung Chun recovered the ability to kill them in one blow, Su Yin had to take the initiative. Su Yin firmly believed in this point. But this initiative couldn't start with him, so he had to make a trip to Lunan. Lin Suin didn't know the division of power in the underground world, but Yi Fala was very clear. She reminded Su Yun, Don't think that Wang Longhuang is a good person. He dares to call himself the emperor. Everyone in the underground world knows how arrogant he is. If you go to him to help you, I'm afraid it's impossible for him to be serious just to help someone else. But if it's for himself, it's different. Su Yun smiled slightly. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Yi Fala looked at the GPS location on her anklet again. If I can remove this thing, I can help you. After all, Wang Longhuang and I have some friendship. Removing this will only make you go back to prison, and you won't have the chance to serve your sentence outside. I won't let you take this risk. Su Yun, I can still handle this small matter. Besides, I still have Lin Ge to help me. Yi Fala knew that she couldn't stop him, so she didn't say any more nonsense. Then I can only wish you a safe journey. Thank you. Su Yin. Then I'll leave Lin Suin to you for these few days. I can see that you two have a good chat. As he spoke, Su Yin said to Lin Suin, Xinjiang is enough for you to play for 3 to 5 days. When I come back, I promise I'll bring you to a beautiful coastal city for a period of time. Really? Lin Suin pouted. You didn't say that you'll leave me alone after you come back. If I can, I definitely won't make this decision. Su Yin. But I can only do this now. I have no other way, and I don't have any other choice. If I want to get rid of Lung Chun as soon as possible, then I have to go to Lunan to meet someone. Yi Fala had been frowning the whole time. Going to talk terms with Wang Longhuang was originally a huge gamble. Who knew what that extremely arrogant guy would do? If she had other ways, she definitely wouldn't let Su Yin go to Lunan. Where's Lin Ge? Su Yin suddenly thought of a problem. He told Lin Ge to look after Lin Suin. Lin Suyin shrugged. His girlfriend called and asked him to go shopping with her to buy underwear. Do you think I'll let him refuse? Of course, I have to let him go. Yesterday, he just stabilized the girl's heart under my guidance. Of course, he has to perform better today and swipe his card more elegantly. There's no girl he can't get. Chapter 786. Although Su Yin did not want to waste time, he still resisted the urge to call Lin Ge. He did not want to ruin Lin Ji's relationship. However, Su Yin needed a helper by his side in a place like Lunan. In the worst-case scenario, at least he would not fall into a dangerous situation where he was surrounded by enemies. Therefore, the person he wanted to bring along not only needed his complete trust, but also a certain level of strength. After thinking about it again and again, Su Yin went to the kitchen to look for Shanzi and called little Dongbei out. Brother Yin, why are you looking for me? Little Dongbei was still holding a kitchen knife in his hand. He raised the back of his hand to wipe his reddened eyes. Thank goodness you called me out. I really can't stand the smell of onions. The air outside is still better. Su Yin helplessly smiled. Are you really going to learn how to be a chef and then go home and tell your father that you've returned with success and brought glory to your ancestors? Ha ha ha, Brother Yin, it's fine if you say that to others. Little Dongbei said. Not many people can become world-class chefs. Even if they become world-class chefs, they'll still be serving the rich. No matter how good a chef is, he'll still have to work in the kitchen. How can he bring glory to his ancestors? It's fine to fool an old farmer like my father. Su Yin gestured for him to take off his apron. Then why didn't you tell me that you didn't want to be a chef in the kitchen? There are so many departments in Xingkai that can do things. Tell me what you want to do and I'll definitely help you. Brother, I know you take care of me. However, I, little Dongbei, am a discerning person. I'll only be good to you if you treat me well. Little Dongbei said. I don't have any requests in Xingkai. Let's not talk about anything else. Let's talk about the house that Boss Bu gave me. How many chefs can afford to buy a 3-bedroom apartment in Xinjiang City? They don't even dare to dream about it. Since he gave it to you, then it's what you deserve. Su Yin. Yes, there are no chefs who can afford to buy Xinjiang's top-notch Sanju. But there are also no chefs who can step forward and save so many lives in that kind of life-threatening situation. You have to know that you deserve it. Little Dongbei chuckled. Big Brother Yin, I'm willing to work for you because of your attitude towards me. I don't want anything materialistic. I just feel that you're willing to open your heart to me. You definitely aren't using me as a tool. If there's anything you need, just say the word and I'll definitely do it. Just based on the fact that you trust me. Su Yin patted little Dongbei's shoulder. Since you've said so, I won't stand on ceremony with you. Prepare to pack up and follow me to Lunan. Go to London? Me? Who else? Brother Pigeon? Little Dongbei was stunned for a moment. This business trip was too sudden. Brother Yin, you just came back to settle down. Aren't you going to take a look at Qingdao? I want to, but I'm afraid I don't have that much time. Su Yin. This time it'll be just you and me going to Lunan. Pigeon won't go. He'll stay in Xinjiang to date his girlfriend and help me look after Miss Lin. Only you can help me with this. Little Dongbei was shocked when he heard this news. Brother Pigeon really found a girlfriend? Hee hee, brother, when will you find a wife for me? If you're a man, go after her yourself. Can't you have some ambition? Su Yin. When you come back, hurry up and find a driving school to register. After you get your driver's license, buy a 4-wheeled car. By then, you'll have a car and a house in Xinjiang. You won't have to worry about not finding a wife. Little Dongbei heard this and said righteously, No, definitely not. A woman who's with me for a house and a car definitely doesn't love me. I don't want that. I'm looking for true love. Forget it. Su Yin patted little Dongbei's shoulder. Society is different now. Out of 100 girls, 99 of them are materialistic and won't fall in love. The remaining one is still slow-witted. Do you believe me? Brother Yin, you mean? Sister Shuang and the rest are slow-witted? Little Dongbei chuckled. I heard from Brother Chang and the rest that when Sister Shuang fell in love with you, she didn't know you had this ability. At that time you were? They're different. Su-yin directly interrupted little Dongbei. Okay. I promise you, I'll get your sister Shuang to help you find a good one. She's not materialistic, she's purely loving. You have to first make yourself so that she can fall in love with you. Now go and prepare. Tell Shanzi that I'll call you later, and you can come downstairs. Little Dongbei laughed foolishly and nodded. Of course, he knew that Su-yin was right. It was hard to find 1 out of 100 girls who weren't materialistic. Even if there was one, not everyone was worthy of her. Many materialistic girls thought that they had high standards and good taste. Actually, that wasn't the case at all. Those who had high standards and good taste were the rare materialistic girls. The reason was simple. Materialistic girls who only saw materialistic things, money, luxury cars, and houses. How could they care about the qualities a man should have? The most important things a man should have were definitely not just houses, cars, and money. It was such a simple thing, but 99% of girls couldn't see it clearly. In the eyes of most people, a poor man wasn't necessarily a good man. Why not find a rich man who wasn't a good man? At least they wouldn't have to worry about materialistic things. It had to be said that this made sense. Many poor guys had quite a lot of cunning ideas in their bellies. Su-yin returned to his room and simply packed his things. Then, he called Lin Ge to inform him that he was going to London. When Lin Ge heard that Su-yin was going to take little Dongbei away and let him stay in Xinjiang, he immediately rushed back to Xinkai. He didn't want to delay his business because of a girlfriend. Brother, you have to think about this again. When Lin Ge rushed back to Xinkai, Su-yin and little Dongbei were already preparing to leave. I've thought about it. I'm not letting you stay in Xinjiang just to let you date. Su-yin smiled. There's also Lin Suyin. I need you to help me take care of her. Didn't Sister Yi agree to help you take care of Sister Suyin? Lin Ge said. Brother, I've already told Fangya. If she really chooses to be with me, she'll understand me. I can't possibly do nothing just to accompany her. Su-yin shook his head. That's not the only problem. There's something more important. Someone must stay in Xinjiang. You have to understand this. Why? Lin Ge didn't understand Su-yin's intentions. Give me a real reason to stay in Xinjiang. Because I can't be sure if Leng Chen will suddenly appear here. Su-yin said seriously, so I need someone in Xinjiang. I'm not letting you stay here just to let you relax. If Leng Chen isn't recuperating like we think, then his first target in the mainland will definitely be Xinjiang. Lin Ge didn't say anything else. He also understood that Su-yin's words made sense. Su-yin patted Lin Jiyi's shoulder. Leng Chen wouldn't hesitate to cooperate with Muto Ichiro in order to form an alliance. If I don't make preparations to gain the initiative by finding a partner, I'll obviously be at a disadvantage when the time comes. I don't want to see this situation, and you don't want to see it either. I understand. Lin Ge nodded. Have a safe trip. After speaking, Lin Ge pulled little Dongbei to the side. I'll leave my brother in your care. Don't disappoint me. Brother Pigeon, don't worry. As long as I, little Dongbei, am alive, I'll definitely let Brother Yin come out unscathed. Little Dongbei patted his chest. I'll do what I say. Aren't you bragging a little too much? Lin Ge laughed bitterly. Take care of yourself. Lunan's place is worse than you think. Since ancient times, that place has been known as a bandit city. It's also the most chaotic place in Huaxia's underground world. Don't be careless. Little Dongbei nodded. I understand. Before Su-yin was ready to leave, Yi Fala and Lin Suyin came to see him off. Lin Suyin obviously didn't want Su-yin to leave. You better come back safely. Otherwise I won't forgive you. That's for sure. I've already promised Brother Dong and the others to take good care of you. If something happens to me, how can I take care of you? Su-yin smiled. Yi Fala pulled Su-yin to the side and stuffed something into his pocket. If Wang Longhuang makes things difficult for you, it's best not to fall out with him. That will only make things worse. Although I don't know how much influence I have in Lunan, if you think it's necessary, show this to him. Maybe he'll be easier to communicate with. Su-yin nodded. Then I'll leave this place to you. If Pigeon needs help, the only person who can help him is you. I'll do my best. Yifala said. You don't have to worry about this. Even if Lung Chen comes and wants to cause trouble in Xinjiang, he'll have to ask if I'm willing. Su Yun's lips curled up slightly. Keep bragging. After everything was arranged, Su Yun and little Dongbei drove onto the highway to Lunan. In order to be more mobile, Su Yun and the others chose to drive. The distance of about 1,000 kilometers wasn't short, but it wasn't far either. One day was enough. The only inconvenience was that little Dongbei didn't know how to drive and couldn't help Su Yun change shifts. On the way, Su Yun didn't stay idle. As he drove, he taught little Dongbei the theory of driving. Little Dongbei listened very seriously and wanted to try driving in the end. Su Yun didn't want to take this risk. Even if he wanted to practice driving, he couldn't practice on the highway. The car drove forward and got closer to Lunan province. Su Yun didn't have a good impression of this famous bandit city in Huaxia. After all, the few times he came to Lunan were to deal with some terrorist attacks. A city with a large and chaotic population was often the easiest place for evil to breed. No one could deny this. This was also the hub city that connected the Central Plains and Tibet. A lot of things were hard to control. After all, for so many years, the Tibet region in Huaxia had never been peaceful. There would always be things happening and causing trouble for the leaders. Chapter 787. It was not an exaggeration to say that Lunan province was the #1 bandit town in Huaxia. As soon as Su Yun got off the highway and entered the city, he was stopped by a group of uniformed guys just like the other cars with foreign license plates. As long as it wasn't Lunan's car, there was no way they could pass. Immediately, a few uniformed guys would surround them and shout something. In the end, the foreign cars were only allowed to pass after paying a fee. Finally, it was the turn of the old Mitsubishi SUV in front of Su Yun. A few uniformed guys surrounded the car and impatiently shouted at the driver. You've seen the situation of the car in front. You can't do whatever you want now. I'll give you two choices. One is to pay 3,000 yuan and leave. The other is to follow me to the traffic police department to go through the proper procedures and be fined. If you don't cooperate, your driver's license will be revoked and you'll be detained for 10 days, 8 days, and you'll have a taste of prison. I didn't violate any rules. Why should I be punished? The Mitsubishi driver was not a good-tempered person who was easily provoked. He glared at them and said, Huaxia is a lawful society. Do you still want to break the law? The traffic police can't just randomly arrest people. Give me a reason for the fine. Detention? Who are you trying to scare? I've been scared since I was young. Among the crowd, a person who looked more imposing stood up and patted the hood of the Mitsubishi. He smiled and said, Friend, 3,000 yuan isn't expensive at all, right? Let me tell you, if we want to investigate you, we can definitely find out what's wrong with you. While this person was talking, Su Yun saw a uniformed guy go around the back of the Mitsubishi and use a tool to remove the car's license plate. If Su Yun guessed correctly, this guy's license plate had also been removed. The person in the Mitsubishi was stunned. Of course, he saw the other party's people doing something to the front of his car. He hurriedly got out of the car and shouted, What are you doing? What are you trying to do? Stop it. Why are you removing my license plate? As soon as he got out of the car, he was immediately pressed against the car by a few people. Even though he was subdued, the Mitsubishi driver was still unconvinced. Bullying with numbers? I'm alone today. I admit defeat. Tell me what you want to do. You're driving a car without a license plate. That's a penalty of 12 points. How about it? Come with me to the traffic police station? The leader of the uniformed fellows chuckled. How many days you'll be detained will depend on your attitude when you arrive. Don't even think about framing us. There are no cameras here. If you don't have evidence to prove that we took off your license plate, we can still sue you for slandering a public official. Good. 3,000. I'll give you 3,000, I'll pay, okay? The Mitsubishi guy was both angry and aggrieved. However, he was alone in a foreign land. What could he do if he encountered something like this? Moreover, the other party was a member of the traffic police team. It was obvious that he was no match for them. If he continued to challenge the other party, he would be overestimating himself. The uniformed leader raised his head and laughed. It was 3,000 just now, but it's different now. One license plate is 3,000 and two are 6,000. Take it or not, I'll give you a chance. When the Mitsubishi owner heard this, his eyes were about to burst into flames, but what could he do? His eyes were burning with anger as he admitted defeat. Here. I'll pay. Put on my license plate. Brothers, put on this friend's license plate. After the uniformed leader finished speaking, he raised the price again. The installation fee is 1,000 yuan, so the total is 7,000 yuan. The Mitsubishi owner spent almost all of his cash before he was considered to have passed the dangerous situation. This group of uniformed fellows was really ruthless. They were simply a group of wolves in sheep's clothing, stinky hooligans in uniform. Little Dongbei clenched his teeth. He really couldn't help but want to teach them a lesson. They were working for the government and taking taxpayers' money. They actually used their authority to extort commoners. These fellows were too arrogant. Little Dongbei, you don't really think that they're from the traffic police, do you? Su Yun smiled slightly. I've told you before that Lunnan is the biggest bandit town in Huaxia. Hee, you don't have to be surprised by anything you see here. Little Dongbei widened his eyes. But they're all wearing the uniform of the traffic police. What kind of society is this? Even if you want to buy the uniform of Zongnanhai's bodyguards, you can buy it, not to mention the uniform of the traffic police. Su Yun. The government is mighty and domineering. How many high-ranking officials have fallen from their posts? Those high-ranking officials who have committed crimes are treading on thin ice. These small fries in the organization wouldn't dare to do such a thing. They're fake. Little Dongbei suddenly realized. No wonder they all had such a strong bandit aura. Su Yun nodded. Of course they're fake. They can make us law-abiding commoners obediently stop the car with fake clothes. This group of people really have brains. It's a pity that they used their brains in the wrong place. Little Dongbei watched as the Mitsubishi owner quickly left after paying the money. He raised his head to look at Su Yun. Brother, it's our turn. What should we do? I don't want to cause trouble, and I don't want to pay. I think it's really difficult. Su Yun indeed didn't want to waste time on these messy things. He came to Lunnan to find Wang Long Huang, not to deal with these bandits. While they were talking, there were already people surrounding Su Yun's car. Su Yun had just changed the car radio to Lunnan's radio station. The radio station was advertising the hotel, Jin Huaxing Hotel, 588 yuan, luxury standard room with the original price of 1,800 yuan, 24-hour hot water, 4G wireless internet, 48-inch HD TV. This hotel is not bad, Su Yun thought. 588 yuan for 2 people for a night, it's quite affordable. Yo! Today we finally see a luxury car worth more than $1 million. The leader of the uniformed men smiled and walked in front of Su Yun's car window. Brother, you're rich. Su Yun only glanced at him and didn't say anything. At this time he also saw that there were already 2 uniformed men standing at the 2 ends of his car. If he didn't comply, he would probably be the same as the person in front and be threatened with his license plate taken off. Brother, I always like to make friends with rich people. I wonder if you're interested in being friends with me? The leader of the uniformed men laughed. You also saw the situation of the car in front. I can't help it. I'm just a wage earner. That bit of money isn't even enough for me to get along every month. I can only come out to do some private work. Su Yun saw that he was still pretending, but didn't expose him. A car costs 3,000 yuan. You can at least earn a few 100,000 yuan in one night, right? Ha ha ha, it's not as much as you say. It's already not bad to earn a few 100,000 yuan in one night. The leader of the uniformed men said. Besides, we have so many brothers. If we split it evenly, it won't be much. It's just money for cigarettes. You understand, right? Su Yun sneered. I really don't understand. Enough, brother. I don't want to talk nonsense with you. The leader of the uniformed men said. Anyway, you rich people don't lack tens of thousands of yuan. I'll give you a fixed price. 10,000 yuan, and you can leave immediately. Otherwise, you'll have to spend more than that just to clean your car, right? Chapter 788. Compared to little Dongbei, Suyin was much calmer. 10,000? Ha ha ha, since you want to be friends with me, you don't have to raise the price so much, right? You should really rob a bank. That way, you can earn money faster. Not to mention 10,000. Even 10 million is more than that. My suggestion is good, right? The uniformed man's face changed. Okay, I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. Are you giving it or not? Just say it. Don't waste time. I'm giving you face because you don't lack money, but I don't have the patience. Don't tell me you want to follow me to the traffic police station? Suyin shook his head. Of course not. After a pause, Suyin said, but I don't want to pay. What should I do? Then there's nothing to talk about. The uniformed man immediately gave his men a look. The two men standing in front and behind the car, one in front and one behind, squatted down and prepared to take the license plate. Suyin didn't agree to this. When the car was in neutral gear, he suddenly stepped on the accelerator. With a hum, the roar of the engine knocked the guy in front of the car half to death, causing him to squat on the ground. Following that, Suyin shifted the car into reverse and braked. The rear of the car arched backward and with a bang, it knocked over the guy who was squatting behind the car and trying to remove the license plate. Seeing that the Qian was so uncooperative, the uniformed man was furious. Hey, you really don't want face. You won't cry until you see the coffin, right? Good. Openly resisting law enforcement. Then I'll take you to the traffic police station. Let's see if you can still be tough then. You don't have to scare people. Suyin sneered and stopped the car. You still want to pretend to be a public official, right? Don't splash dirty water on the faces of public officials. Robbery is already a crime, and you still want to pretend to be a law enforcement officer. I think you are the one who won't cry until you see the coffin. Under Suyun's signal, little Dongbei directly opened the door and jumped out of the car. He punched the person who was running toward him. Suyun suddenly opened the door, and the car door directly sent the leader of the uniformed men flying. Seeing that they were about to make a move, more than a dozen uniformed men immediately turned fierce and rushed over. However, they were all low-level hooligans after all. Suyin didn't even need to do anything. Little Dongbei alone killed all the imposters in 3 minutes. Dealing with these hooligans was much easier than dealing with the wild boars in the old forest. After the battle with He Zhong's men on the cruise ship, little Dongbei had grown significantly, especially in terms of explosive power. None of the hooligans who had pretended to be traffic police could withstand a single punch from little Dongbei. Suyin could only rejoice that this kid did not have a knife in his hand. Otherwise, it would be really troublesome if he was stabbed to death. Hooligans were hateful, but they didn't deserve to die. Little Northeast clapped his hands and looked at the hooligans lying on the ground. He spat on the ground. He really didn't care about these guys. Go tell the people in the back to leave. Don't waste time here. Suyin said to little Dongbei. Little Dongbei nodded and went to clear the traffic. Many people who were driving here left the scene as fast as they could. They didn't want to think about whether these law enforcement officers were imposters or not. They only cared about their own interests. Suyin walked up to the leader of the uniformed men and smiled wickedly. Are you regretting coming out today? You. This is called assaulting a police officer. A felony. The leader of the uniformed men still wanted to use his impersonation to threaten Suyin. Suyin waved his hand impatiently. Okay, stop pretending. Even if you don't find it tiring, I find it annoying. Can't you at least be a little more professional? The first thing you said was to ask for the driver's license and car registration. This is a habit of the traffic police. Who would start with money? No matter how stupid I am, I can tell that you are imposters. Also, the quality of your clothes is too poor, right? What kind of cloth is this? It doesn't look good at all. Tell me, where are you from? Forget it, I'll just call the police. The leader of the uniformed men stared at Suyin with his eyes wide open. He was rendered speechless by Suyin's words. Seeing Suyin take out his phone to call the police, the uniformed men reacted. It's useless even if you call the police. Our big brother is very familiar with the people in the police station. No one can touch us. Yo, your big brother is quite awesome. What's his name? Let's hear it. Suyin was obviously just scaring them. Calling the police would only cause trouble for him. I really want to know who is so talented to let his underlings do this. The uniformed men snorted heavily. Our big brother is Black Bull. If you know what's good for you, you'd better let us go and get out of London. Otherwise, my big brother will skin you alive. Have you heard of it? Suyin looked back at little Dongbei, who was walking back from clearing the traffic. Little Dongbei shook his head like a rattledrum. I've heard of Red Bull, but I've never heard of Black Bull. Is it also a functional drink? The uniformed men stared with wide eyes and a face full of anger. These two guys really made him gnash his teeth. However, he was worried that the other party was too powerful and ruthless. One person could kill more than 10 of their brothers. He really didn't dare to act out. Suyin touched his chin. Sorry, we've never heard of it. It only means that your big brother isn't loud enough. I'm afraid he can't threaten us. Kid, you better not be too arrogant. My big brother, Black Bull, is the sworn brother of Lunan's son, Wang Long Huang. The uniformed man gritted his teeth and said, You've heard of this, right? You better think carefully about who you've offended. If you don't want to die, you better be obedient. Wang Long Huang's sworn brother? Suyin was stunned. This was really unintentional. He was still worried about how to find out about Wang Long Huang's whereabouts. He had just entered Lunan's territory, and there were already clues. You can boast so loudly. Does your homeroom teacher know? Suyin. I've heard of Lunan's son. How can he be the sworn brother of a group of lowly hooligans like you? Do you think I'll believe your words? It's up to you to believe it or not. If you have the guts, then leave your name. If you dare to stay overnight in London, if our big brother doesn't take care of you, then he's not called Black Bull. The uniformed man's anger wasn't small. Suyin grinned. Then I'll give you a chance. Tonight, we'll stay overnight at Jinhuaxing Hotel. If you have the ability, then get your big brother, Black Bull, to find us. After saying that, Suyin pointed at the car. I might as well tell you. Don't talk about 10,000 in cash. I can even take out 100,000. Let's see if your big brother has the ability to ask for your medical fees. After saying that, Suyin waved to little Dongbei and said, Let's go. After little Dongbei got on the car, he asked, Brother Yin, where is Jinhuaxing Hotel? The one that was mentioned in the broadcast just now. I don't know where it is. Let's go to the city and look for it. It sounds quite affordable. Suyin started the car and left as he said. Chapter 789. The Jinhuaxing Hotel was quite easy to find. The advertisement on the radio wasn't lying. The standard room for 580 yuan for 2 people was indeed quite good. Suyin and little Dongbei were quite satisfied. Suyin let little Dongbei take a shower first. He called Xinjiang to report that they were safe. Lingu was relieved to know that they had arrived safely. After little Dongbei took a shower, Suyin also went to take a shower. After driving for a day, his body was really stiff. Just now, he was preparing to move his muscles and bones. Unexpectedly, those hooligans were so weak that little Dongbei didn't even have the chance to fight them. This made Suyin embarrassed to make a move. Sigh, he didn't even seize the opportunity to move. Suyin dried his body and put on his clothes. Just as he walked out of the bathroom, he heard a knock on the door. Little Dongbei hurriedly got up and walked over. As he asked who it was, he opened the door. As soon as he opened the door, little Dongbei was stunned at the door. An extremely scantily dressed woman stood at the door of their room, stroking her hair coquettishly. She threw flirtatious glances at little Dongbei. Little brother, it's me. You just called me to come and serve you. Have you forgotten? You're really forgetful. Little Dongbei was dumbfounded. Call? I didn't call. Miss, you've got the wrong person, right? Io, little brother, what are you afraid of? Our hotel is very safe. There definitely won't be any checks. Don't worry. As the woman spoke, she pushed the door open and entered. Little Dongbei's mind was in a daze. When he suddenly saw a woman dressed so scantily, he really didn't have any resistance. It was understandable that young people were hot-tempered. Little Dongbei kept retreating as he muttered. You really came to the wrong door. I didn't call. I really didn't call. What's there to be embarrassed about? Everyone has their own needs. There's no need to be embarrassed. The woman got closer and closer to little Dongbei, and her expression became more and more exaggerated. No matter what request you have, I can satisfy you. At this point, the woman seemed to have noticed Su Yun, and was stunned for a moment. Then she pretended to be shy and said, "You're so annoying. Why didn't you make it clear that there are two of you? If you want to have a threesome, you'll have to pay more. I won't do the 800 that we agreed on before." Su Yun was also having a headache. Now the crackdown on prostitution had indeed cleaned up the internet, and even Dongguan and Shiguan. However, the phenomenon of prostitution in most hotels was still common. No matter how strict the crackdown was, it was still a kind of social evil that could not be eliminated. He already said that you came to the wrong door. Su Yun wasn't as easygoing as little Dongbei. He glared at him and said, "There's no business for you here. Go do whatever you need to do." The woman glanced at Su Yun and said shyly, It's said that handsome guys have bad tempers. It seems like it's true. All right. Even if I came to the wrong door, I'm willing to serve you on account of how handsome you are. I don't want the 1,500. How about 1,000? It's really not expensive. It's definitely lower than the market price. If you don't believe me, you can call and ask around. Little Dongbei had never seen such a situation before. He hid to the side and didn't say anything. He would rather see a wild boar rush in after opening the door than a prostitute. Su Yun didn't have the patience. I already said that I'm not in the mood. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and leave. Even if it's 100, we don't need it. Understand? The woman was a little embarrassed. You were the one who called and asked me to come to Jinhua Star to serve you. Even if I failed elementary math, I can still tell the room number. If you're deliberately playing with me, then I won't agree. Since I'm already here, whether you do it or not, you can't pay less. Little Dongbei was annoyed when he heard that. We didn't do anything. Why should we pay? You have to pay even if you don't want to. You have to do it even if you don't want to. 1,500. No discussion. The woman angrily threw down her bag and began to take off her top in front of the two men in the room. Looking at her posture, it seemed like she was going to act shamelessly and play hard. He had seen people who forced people to buy and sell. That was what small businessmen liked to do. At most, they would sell houses or cars and use some tricks to force people to buy and sell. He had never seen people who used their own bodies to force people to buy and sell. Lu Nan's place really opened Su Yun's eyes. They had only been in the city for less than 2 hours, and they had already encountered hooligans who disguised themselves as traffic police. The prostitute had taken the initiative to come to their door and forced them to pay for her. It's useless even if you take off your clothes. If we close our eyes and don't look, then we won't pay you. Little Dongbei naively argued with her. You better hurry up and leave. I've never hit a woman. Don't force me to do it. You can hit people. As long as you pay more, you can even whip me. The woman wasn't ashamed of her actions at all. Just as Su Yun was about to open the door and forcefully send the woman out, he suddenly heard a series of hurried footsteps outside the door. In an instant, Su Yun understood what was going on, but it was too late now. Kwangdang. The door was kicked open. A few policemen from the anti-pornography team broke in. One of them took a camera and took a series of photos, afraid that he would miss any evidence. The prostitute who had just taken off her clothes was so scared that she hugged her body and curled into a ball. She hurriedly explained, "Brother policeman, this is my first time doing this. I haven't earned any money yet. I know that I'm wrong. Please forgive me. Don't punish me. I'll do anything you want. The only thing you can do is something that we all find dirty." A young policeman angrily reprimanded. "Shut up. Put on your clothes." Little Dongbei's eyes widened as he looked at the police officers. He whispered to Su Yun, "Big brother Yun, could these police officers be imposters as well?" Su Yun shook his head helplessly. "I'm afraid that these are the regular army." "What are you muttering about? You're young and you don't learn good things. You're staying in a hotel and inviting prostitutes." An older policeman reprimanded. If your parents knew that you were like this, they would definitely regret raising you. Squat down with your hands on your heads. If you keep muttering, don't blame me for being rude to you. Little Dongbei felt wronged. Uncle Policeman, we're innocent. We didn't invite prostitutes. This woman came in by herself. We were just about to kick her out. Squat down with your hands on your head. The older policeman's temper wasn't very good. Su Yin signaled little Dongbei to do it first. If you didn't do anything wrong, you wouldn't be afraid of ghosts knocking on your door. This matter would prove their innocence sooner or later. Going against the police now obviously wouldn't have a good result. This matter was deliberately arranged by someone. It was obvious that someone wanted to frame them. Little Dongbei suppressed the grievance in his heart. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he followed Su Yun's instructions. He squatted on the ground with his hands on his head. He was extremely depressed. How did such a bad thing happen to him? If this person was unlucky, he would choke on cold water and choke on air. Chapter 790. The lady was obviously a habitual offender. She had experienced this kind of thing countless times. She didn't need the police comrade to tell her what to do next. She obediently raised her hands and prepared to be handcuffed. However, she still muttered that she was innocent. Brother policeman, it's really my first time. I haven't received any money yet. This is at most an attempt. There's no need to detain me, right? Your first time? I think you look quite familiar. Another police officer said disdainfully. Most of the words from the lady's mouth were lies. This was not surprising at all. A person who could even betray herself had no credibility to speak of. When you reach the station, call your boss and ask him to come and redeem you. You ladies are really inexhaustible. When the lady heard that nothing made sense, the resentment in her heart couldn't be concealed. She glared fiercely at Su Yin and little Dongbei. It's all because of you. I'm really unlucky today. Everything happened to me. You two better not let me see you again in the future. Every time I see you, I'll find someone to beat you up once. Did the people of Lunnan province like to threaten people like this? Little Dongbei shook his head helplessly. Big sister, don't be cynical. If you want to talk about unlucky, it's us who are unlucky. We were just preparing to have a good sleep. Who knew that you came to the wrong door, and even attracted the police uncle? We haven't complained yet. Su Yin more or less understood the situation. Alright, don't say any more. We've all been played for a fool. It's useless to say anything now. We can only wait for the police comrade to investigate. Don't flatter. We don't buy it. That's enough. Don't make so many excuses. The middle-aged policeman said, You're not good people. You dare to do it but don't dare to admit it. Police comrade, if you don't believe me, you can look at the lady's mobile phone and ask her which number called for her door-to-door service. I can assure you that it wasn't us. Su Yin explained. We were really fooled. The lady seemed to understand a little. This hotel was so safe. Who would come to check the rooms for no reason? Someone must have reported it. But it definitely wouldn't be someone from the hotel, because they received benefits from their boss every month. Someone must have deliberately arranged this in the dark. She was just a pawn to trap these two fellows. Damn it. Police comrade, I dare say that you're definitely not conducting a large-scale investigation. You're coming straight for us. Su Yin. It's obvious that someone reported us. We've just arrived in Lunnan. How would we know the phone number for door-to-door service? Anyone with a discerning eye can see that the person who reported us arranged everything. The young policeman said angrily. Are you insinuating something? Are you calling us blind? We only believe what we see. You don't need to quibble. All of you shut up. The middle-aged policeman looked at Su Yin, then looked at the young lady and said coldly, It's useless to say anything now. Wait until you arrive at the station before you explain. With that, the middle-aged policeman waved his hand. Cuff them and take them away. Little Dongbei looked at Su Yin. As long as Su Yin gave the order, he would immediately resist without hesitation. Su Yin shook his head silently. He had just arrived, and if he got mixed up with the police, he wouldn't be able to stay any longer if they issued a warrant for his arrest. Su-Yun didn't want to get involved in such matters. It was better to honestly explain the situation to the police comrade. That way, he wouldn't be unable to find a place to stay in London. Little Dongbei saw that Su-Yun didn't allow him to move, so he obediently cuffed his hands and followed the police out of the hotel with his head drooping. Luckily, they were in another city and it was dark at night. Otherwise, it would be embarrassing. He was still a young boy who kept his chastity. If this misunderstanding were to spread, how was he going to find a wife? Being caught was a small matter, and it didn't matter if he was wrongly accused. But if it delayed his marriage, such as finding a wife, it would be really troublesome. Both of you are jinxes. In the police van, the lady who came out to serve them said angrily, "Who exactly did you offend? You even caused me to get involved with you. Either you give me compensation for my mental damage, or you wait to be beaten up." Su-Yun sighed. "When you came, we already said that we would let you go. If you didn't take off your clothes as if you were in a hurry to reincarnate, you wouldn't have been caught red-handed, right?" "That's right. We haven't complained yet. What are you complaining about?" Little Dongbei glared at the lady. Unlucky people. The lady was furious when she saw the two of them. The middle-aged policeman sitting in the front passenger seat looked back unhappily. "If you continue to talk so much nonsense, I will get someone to stuff your mouths. Is there any other problem?" Hearing the leader speak, Su-Yun and Little Dongbei didn't have much of a temper. They would just stop talking. They weren't the ones who took the initiative to talk just now. It was all that woman's fault for not being able to control her mouth. The lady didn't dare to act rashly in front of the police. She obediently shut up and stayed in the car quietly like a virgin. She was no longer flirting like before. Soon, the police car quietly returned to the nearest police station. Su-Yun and the others were taken out of the car and handed over to the police officers on duty to lock them in the detention room. The few guys who returned with merit went to the office to drink tea. Obviously, they weren't in a hurry about the interrogation. About 10 minutes later, the middle-aged policeman appeared in front of them again. He said to Su-Yun and Little Dongbei, "Both of you come with me. Someone wants to see you." "Brother policeman, what about me?" The lady couldn't sit still. "At least let me make a phone call." Wait a moment," the middle-aged policeman said impatiently. Then he pulled Su-Yun and Little Dongbei out of the detention room. Then he threw them into the interrogation room and handcuffed them to the chairs. Then he turned around and left. "Brother Yin, we're not familiar with this place. Who would look for us?" Little Dongbei said nervously when he saw that they were locked in the room with their hands restrained. Su-Yun seemed very relaxed. "Whoever arranged to frame us must be the one who wants to see us. I didn't expect them to be so careless. If I had known, I wouldn't have told them which hotel we were going to check in at." Little Dongbei smiled bitterly. "Yeah, Brother Yin. Why did you tell them at that time? If we were really detained for 8 to 10 days, wouldn't we be in big trouble? Didn't that guy say that his boss is the sworn brother of the person we're looking for? Of course, I have to grab hold of such a useful clue." Su-Yun said calmly, "Don't worry, we'll be out in a while. A clean conscience is not afraid of a crooked shadow. We didn't do anything. They have no evidence to detain us." Little Dongbei could only pray and hope so. About 5 minutes later, there was a sound of footsteps outside the door. Little Dongbei looked up at the door vigilantly. Su-Yun's lips curled into a slightly evil smile. Chapter 791. Following the creaking sound of the door opening, 3 people rushed into the interrogation room. The one in front was the middle-aged policeman, who seemed to be the captain on duty today. The guy behind him craned his neck. When he saw Su-Yun and Little Dongbei, he couldn't help but exclaim, "That's right. It's them." The middle-aged policeman frowned. The leader had just called and asked them to hand over the 2 people to Niu Hongtian. He couldn't say anything. After all, he had to give face to the leader. He couldn't offend the higher-ups just because of a small merit. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to stay in the unit anymore. Everyone understood such a simple logic. Niu Hongtian still had some faith in Lu Nan. Not to mention that he had a group of underlings under him, and that his usury business was doing very well. He was usually arrogant and overbearing, and bullied men and women. He was about to do whatever he wanted in Lunan, but he still hadn't been caught and thrown into jail. This showed that he definitely had some background and backing behind him. The one behind the two wearing a tang suit was Niu Hongtian. The people of Lunan called him Black Bull. It could be understood from the literal meaning, black and bull. Niu Hongtian looked like he was only about 35 years old, but he was dressed quite maturely. His tang suit and the black cloth shoes on his feet were the outfit of an old man above 60 years old. Young and middle-aged people still preferred shiny leather shoes, well-ironed casual pants, comfortable shirts, and so on. Are you sure? Niu Hongtian said lightly. Don't King say you're wrong after we bring them back. I'll kill you then. Big brother, I'm sure they're right. Even if these two bastards turn into ashes, I'll still recognize them. This guy was the one who pretended to be the traffic police captain. Now that he saw Su Yin and Lin Gu, he was naturally enraged. The middle-aged policeman didn't say anything. He didn't know what was going on inside, and he didn't have the nerve to ask the higher-ups. When little Dongbei saw the man who pretended to be a traffic police, he was so anxious that he wanted to stand up. You pretended to be a traffic police and still want to pretend to be a police officer? Uncle Police, they're clearly from the underworld. You're a combination of officials and bandits? Is there anyone like you? The middle-aged policeman was confused. What did he mean by pretending to be a traffic police officer? Impersonating a police officer? Niu Hongtian's triangular eyes narrowed slightly as he glared fiercely at little Dongbei. Then he said to the middle-aged policeman, Captain Ji, I've really troubled you today. When I have time, I'll call Superintendent Qin, Commissioner Li, and the others. We'll all drink and chat together. The middle-aged policeman hurriedly waved his hand. Boss Niu, you're treating me like an outsider. Superintendent Qin asked me to do something. That's my duty. Even if Superintendent Qin didn't give the order, Boss Niu said that these two were his men. How could he not give face and let them go? Ha ha ha, there's no need to be so polite. We're all friends. Don't be so polite. Captain Ji is really a good friend. Niu Hongtian said. Then I'll have to thank you. Su Yin and Lil Dongbei were stunned. This guy said that they were his people? What did that mean? Can you speak more clearly? Su Yin smiled slightly. It said that one should not be rewarded without merit. Not only did I not do anything, but I also seem to have offended you. This boss Niu wants to repay evil with good and redeem me? It really makes me feel a little embarrassed. The middle-aged policeman had already seen that these two guys were not Niu Hongtian's people at all. It was just that it was inconvenient to expose them. Kid, Boss Niu gave you a chance to get out. Why are you still talking so much nonsense? Do you really want me to throw you into the detention center for 10 days or 8 days? Will that make you happy? Of course not. Su Yin smiled. At this time, the middle-aged policeman had already uncuffed him. It seems that everywhere in the country is the same. As long as you have connections, you can do a lot of things with just a word. If you don't have any connections, you'll be framed and wronged. There's no way to explain it. Young man, do more and complain less. The middle-aged policeman said. Don't be afraid of retribution if you offend someone. Su Yin gave him a thumbs up. Well said, police comrade. The middle-aged policeman said to the two of them as he uncuffed little Dongbei. Let's forget about the two of you. If you want to thank someone, thank Boss Niu. If it weren't for him, you would have been detained for at least 7 days. Thank your ancestors for their kindness. Little Dongbei glanced at Niu Hongtian and muttered, It's really my ancestors' kindness. They wouldn't have let me encounter such an unlucky thing and such an unlucky person. Kid, you'd better clean your mouth. The guy who pretended to be a traffic policeman had changed out of his uniform and was wearing a black shirt. There were bruises on his face from little Dongbei. You'll have a good time later. Uncle Policeman, he threatened me. Little Dongbei complained to the middle-aged policeman. However, the middle-aged policeman ignored him. He smiled at Niu Hongtian. Boss Niu, I've released him. You should hurry up and take him away. This isn't a place to drink tea and chat. Hee. It's not convenient to keep you as a guest. Captain Ji, you're too polite. Then I'll bring him back first. Niu Hongtian chuckled. The middle-aged policeman left. Su Yun and little Dongbei didn't stand on ceremony. They got up and walked out of the interrogation room. Su Yun was quite puzzled. Logically speaking, since this show was arranged by Boss Niu, why didn't he use the law enforcement authority of the police to take revenge on them? You beat up my people and cut off my wealth. The two of you are quite bold. Niu Hongtian's expression changed the moment he walked out of the police station. Do you know who I Niu Hongtian am? I'm a very particular person. If you give me an explanation, I'll let you go. Otherwise, you'll have to leave something behind as compensation. His words were quite imposing. Little Dongbei was not convinced by him. He threw his face impatiently and said, "Who do you think you are?" Just as he was about to turn hostile, a few young men jumped out of the cars in front of the police station. Some of them were holding Type 54 pistols bought from the black market, while others were holding single-barreled hunting rifles. Little Dongbei was shocked. Weren't these guys too arrogant? They dared to take out guns in front of the police station? Little Dongbei didn't say the rest of his words. He really hadn't experienced this before, and he didn't know how to solve it. You're Black Bull. Su Yun smiled slightly. You really live up to your reputation. You dare to do this in front of the police station. However, I bet your men don't dare to shoot. If it's just to scare people, then forget it. I, Su Yun, have been scared since I was young. Seeing that Su Yun's courage was not small, Niu Hongtian snorted. You're a little interesting, kid. Okay, you have guts. I like to deal with people with guts. If you really have guts, then get in the car and follow me. Su Yun didn't hesitate. He walked directly to one of the cars. Then I'll have to trouble Brother Black Bull to give us a ride. Chapter 792. Su Yun was well aware that if this Black Bull was so kind as to bail him out of the police station, then he wouldn't have thought of such a crooked scheme to trap him. The other party was showing him his status and connections in London City, letting them understand that tonight's matter was because they had provoked someone they shouldn't have. The car was bumpy all the way, and after a few turns, they arrived at a famous large open market for building materials in the London development zone. Almost every building materials store had its own independent building, and there were many flagship stores of high-end building materials brands. But it was already the middle of the night, so naturally no stores were open, and the entire building materials market was exceptionally quiet. The security guards on duty saw Niu Hongtian's car from afar, and they all stood up and smiled at the car, clearly very afraid of Niu Hongtian. What was this guy selling in his gourd? Su Yun really couldn't figure it out. Little Dongbei had been suppressing his impulses. If it weren't for the fact that these guys had guns in their hands, he would have already dealt with them, and wouldn't have willingly endured until now without saying a word. The car suddenly stopped, and the door opened. After Su Yun got off the car, he saw the signboard above the shop in front of him, Hongtian Investment Management Company, Limited. Isn't this a building materials market? Why is there an investment management company here? Su Yun thought for a long time before he finally understood. For these private investment management companies, 8 out of 10 of them weren't serious companies that relied on investments to help their clients manage their finances, and at least 5 of them relied on their relationships with loan sharks to make a profit. Obviously, the Hongtian Investment Management Company in front of him was also Niu Hongtian's money-making tool. There was naturally a reason why he chose to open a shop in such a large building materials market. The building materials market could be considered a profiteering industry. Simply speaking, every home's renovation required latex paint, flooring, bathroom, doors, windows, and lamps. Which one wasn't profitable with a small capital? Especially the bigger the brand, the more ridiculous the price. Although these building materials bosses made money, there were many times when they were short of funds. After all, the manufacturer's rebate was at least a year's worth of sales. Therefore, in a year it was impossible to count on the retail sales of the house to make money. The only way to make money was to take on large-scale projects. Even if the profits were small, they had to take on large-scale projects and sell large quantities of goods. Those who had been involved in this kind of business knew that it was not easy to settle the construction fees, especially when the amount involved was relatively large. If they didn't delay for a year and a half, they would feel that the money was too readily given. Because of this, many building material industry bosses who relied on large-scale construction sales often had cash flow problems. Although it was because of a few million yuan each time, it was impossible for them to always borrow from friends. Now, everyone knew that money made money, and no one would lend money for no reason without profit. The procedures for bank loans were troublesome, and there were quite a number of bosses who already had bank accounts, so they couldn't get a loan from the bank. Therefore, this group of so-called investment and wealth management companies that made a living by offering high interest rates were born. The emergence of this type of company did add lubricant to social and economic development in a certain aspect, but in a general sense, it was still a relatively abnormal state. Because while usury added oil and vinegar to social and economic development, it also disturbed the economic market. These were all hidden dangers. Just like the real estate bubble now, if it didn't burst, then it wouldn't. Once it did, then it would be completely over. Since Niu Hongtian opened his so-called investment and financial management company in this place, it was obvious that he had swallowed the entire local market. It could be said that he was making a lot of money by lending usury to the owners of these construction materials. Basically, more than 1/3 of the money that the owners of these construction materials earned from the construction materials had been paid to Niu Hongtian as usury interest. There was an iron cage at the entrance of Hongtian Investment and Wealth Management Company. A brutal grey dog was raised in it. Usually, when it saw people, it would bark fiercely, with a posture that wouldn't stop until it tore people into pieces. But today it was very quiet, especially when Su Yun passed by the iron cage. This usually vicious dog actually curled up into a ball like an obedient cat, hiding in the corner of the iron cage. Niu Hongtian was puzzled. His dog was a famous vicious dog in the building material market. If he took this dog out and walked around the shop owners who didn't pay back the money due, they would be scared to death. But today it was like a sick person. It wasn't until Su Yun's figure disappeared from its sight that the grey dog regained a bit of its spirit. Dogs were definitely more intelligent than humans. Just like in many legends, it was said that dogs could see unclean things. Dogs could also easily feel a person's pressure and aura. Although Su Yun's invisible pressure was hidden deep, as long as he didn't release it, ordinary people certainly wouldn't be able to feel it. But the dog could feel it very clearly. There was a story saying that when a person returned home, there was always a dog barking at him at the entrance of the village. In a fit of anger, he killed the dog and ate it. The next day, when he returned home, he found a shadow in his house. The shadow said to him, "Thank you for helping me kill the dog and giving me the opportunity to eat you." Niu Hongtian didn't notice anything unusual about the vicious dog. After he entered the door, he sat on the sofa and put his feet on the coffee table. The man next to him immediately took out a cigarette and lit it for him. "Boss Niu, you brought us here in the middle of the night. What business do you want to talk about?" Su Yun smiled slightly. "If you have something to say, just say it." Niu Hongtian pointed to the seat next to him and said, "Sit down." After sitting down, "Let's talk slowly." He also ordered the man, "What are you waiting for? Go and get some water." Su Yun and Little Northeast sat down. Little Northeast was even more curious about what this guy wanted to do. "Brother, you ruined my business tonight and cut off my money. Shouldn't we talk about this?" Niu Hongtian said, "Although I, Niu Hongtian, am not a calculative person, you should at least give me an explanation. Otherwise, I won't be able to explain myself in front of my brothers." Su Yun went straight to the point and said, "At this point, it's impossible to turn back time. Boss Niu must have a way to deal with this. Otherwise, you wouldn't have brought me here, right?" Niu Hongtian smiled. "Well, brother, you're really a smart person. Then I'll say it directly. For tonight's matter, you cut off my money, and I sent you to the police station. Then we're even." Then Niu Hongtian's tone changed. "But I got you out, so you owe me a favor. If you want to be even, I'll give you a chance to be even." Chapter 793. He Niu didn't expect Su Yun to be so straightforward. He couldn't keep up with the rhythm. "Good. You're a straightforward person. I'm definitely going to be your friend. I won't beat around the bush. You broke my money, so you have to help me earn it back. I'll give you a choice to cooperate with me. Do you see my company? I don't need much. You just need to invest 20 million, and I'll return you 3 million every year. How about that? Ha ha ha, Boss Neo, you must be joking. The interest you're giving me is too low, right? Su Yun, an investment of 20 million isn't a small amount. I know very well what you do. You're a loan shark. If you give out 20 million in your hands, it'll become at least 40 million a year. You're only giving me 3 million? Do you really think I'm a 3-year-old kid? When Niu Hongtian heard this, he was unhappy at first, but he immediately realized that Su Yun might be a guy who knew the business. This might not be a bad thing for him. At least, it meant that this guy had money in his pocket. That was enough. Anyway, Niu Hongtian didn't plan to return the money he invested. How much do you want? Niu Hongtian said lightly. Brother, you're also a person who knows the business. I won't play with you. 20 million. I'll return you your capital in 3 years. After that, I'll give you an additional 20 million in interest. How about that? Double in 6 years. That's a bit too slow. Su Yun still shook his head. 3 years. I can consider it. Brother, you're a bit too greedy. Niu Hongtian said. I see that you're knowledgeable, so I'm saying this to you. You can't be like those small people in society. They really think that loan sharks can double in 2 or 3 days. If that's the case, this business can't be done. I have already given you the conditions that I can give you. Now either you agree, or you give me another condition that will allow me to forgive you for what you have done tonight. Otherwise, I am afraid that I will not be able to control this group of brothers under me. While they were talking, more than a dozen strong thugs started to move their limbs. These people were obviously professional thugs, and they were not on the same level as those gangsters who pretended to be traffic police at night. Therefore, Niu Hongtian was full of confidence. These hired thugs had been fighting with him for many years. Every time there was a debt that could not be collected, as long as these dozen of them made a move, there was nothing that could not be settled. Moreover, these guys were heavy-handed and black-hearted. They did not hesitate to shoot people. Basically, all of them had murder cases on their hands. There were some things that one had to admit. The more vicious a person with a murder case was, the more popular they would be in Lunan. Niu Hongtian liked to recruit such people. As long as you gave them enough entertainment and guaranteed that they wouldn't be caught and sent to jail, then they would really dare to risk their lives when doing things. The soft were afraid of the hard were afraid of the unreasonable, and the unreasonable were afraid of those who did not care about their lives. He Niu's tyrannical nature in Lunan was not the reason why he was able to gain a foothold. It was because he had a group of thugs who did not care for their lives. Therefore, even if Niu Hongtian knew from his underlings that these two people in front of him could fight, he was not afraid of them. This was because he believed that no matter how good they were at fighting, they would not be able to fight against his underlings who dared to risk their lives. I heard that Boss Niu and the Emperor of Lunan are sworn brothers. If Boss Niu can pull some strings for me and let me meet Wang Long Huang, not to mention 20 million, even 50 million is not a problem. Su Yun squinted his eyes. His smile was so harmless. Niu Hongtian's face fell. What do you mean? You want to use Wang Long Huang to pressure me? I don't dare to do that. I just want to get to know this big boss of Lunan's bandit city. Su Yun said. I don't know if Boss Niu has this connection. Kid, who do you think the emperor is? You can get to know him just because you want to? Niu Hongtian said. I brought you here not for you to talk about conditions with me. Let me ask you one last time. This money, are you going to invest or not? Don't talk to me about other things. Su Yun shrugged his shoulders. I already said my conditions. If Boss Niu can't do it, then I really have no interest in cooperating with you. Big brother, why are we still talking nonsense with them? These two kids won't give up until they reach the Yellow River. Today, we must teach them a lesson. The uniformed man who was beaten black and blue by little Dongbei would not let go of this opportunity for revenge. He wanted to beat them up now, and let them have a taste of looking for their teeth on the ground. Niu Hongtian glared at him. The underling beside him did not dare to speak anymore. He raised his hand. and the underling on the left put a short-barreled shotgun in his hand. Do you know what this is? Niu Hongtian pointed the shotgun in his hand at Su Yun's head without hesitation. Brother, do you know what this is? When little Dongbei saw this, his heart jumped to his throat. When he came out, he made a military order to ensure Su Yun's safety. If you have the guts, point that thing at me. Su Yun was much calmer. He knew very well that what Niu Hongtian wanted was not life, but money. Boss Niu, you have to think clearly. If you pull the trigger, don't talk about 20 million, you won't even get 20,000 yuan of investment. We are all people in society. We go out for money. For things like murder, the fewer the better. Niu Hongtian finally realized that he had underestimated this young man in front of him. This guy's boldness was not something an ordinary person could compare to. Su Yun slowly raised his hand and used 2 fingers to hold the barrel of the shotgun. He slowly moved the shotgun away. Boss Bull, I'm not a patient person. I just want to ask you one last time. Can you bring me to see Wang Longhuang? Can you, or can you not? No matter how weak Niu Hongtian was, he was still a black bull that went on a rampage in southern London. He originally wanted to threaten the other party, but now he was caught by the other party. Where would he put his face? Niu Hongtian's face darkened. It seemed that if these 2 brats were not taught a lesson, they would not know the immensity of heaven and earth. The group of thugs around him also prepared themselves. Do it, Su Yun suddenly ordered. In addition to the shotgun in Niu Hongtian's hand, the other party also had 2 Type 54 pistols. In this situation, Su Yun knew that it was necessary to strike first. After all, they were indoors and the space was small. These factors were advantageous to them. When little Dongbei received the order to flip one person over, Su Yun also used a grappling move to smash the Type 54 pistol in one of the gunman's hands. Immediately after, before the second pistol could be aimed at him, he used a swift and violent kick to flip the second guy holding the Type 54 pistol. The 2 pistols fell to the ground. Little Dongbei no longer had any scruples. His fist was strong enough to kill a wild boar. One punch could almost break the bones in the opponent's face. Chapter 794. Niu Hongtian watched as the thugs that he was so proud of were all defeated within a minute. Furthermore, the other party dealt with them with a single blow. Those who dared to risk their lives had their cheekbones smashed with a single punch. After their legs were broken, they were no different from cripples. Other than lying on the ground unconscious, they could only complain incessantly. In his anger, Niu Hongtian couldn't control his emotions. He raised the short-barreled shotgun in his hand again and aimed it directly at Su Yun's head. He roared, "Do you believe that I won't shoot you? The person who dares to behave atrociously in my territory hasn't been born yet." Su Yun smiled slightly and shook his finger at Niu Hongtian. "Boss Niu, next time you point the gun at others, check if it can still be used. Don't hurt yourself after pulling the trigger. Otherwise, the loss will outweigh the gain." Niu Hongtian was stunned. He just realized that the barrel of the shotgun in his hand had been crushed flat. Just now, only Su Yun used 2 fingers to touch the gun. Who was this guy? His strength was so terrifying that it made one's hair stand on end. It wasn't that Niu Hongtian hadn't seen people with such terrifying strength before. Lu Nan's son Wang Longhuang and his subordinate Black Tiger Luoxing were such fierce people. Their strength in all aspects was completely beyond the imagination of ordinary people. They were so strong that they weren't even on the same level as his thugs. Niu Hongtian's brain buzzed. He finally realized that the 2 people he was facing were real experts of the underground world. They were the kind of people that he wouldn't want to provoke no matter how unreasonable or ruthless he was. "Boss Niu, everyone says that harmony breeds wealth. You just have to meet with weapons." Su Yun pulled a chair and sat in front of Niu Hongtian. "Isn't it good to talk things out? Why do you have to make such a big fuss?" Brother, I've offended you. I know I'm wrong. Please give me a chance." Niu Hongtian no longer had the arrogance of the past. "I'll change whatever you say. I'll change everything. I won't do it again. Trust me this time." Su Yun waved his hand. As the saying goes, a dog can't change its habit. I don't expect you to change your character. I still have the same condition. Can you take me to see Wang Longhuang? The big gangsters in South London must have some relationship with Wang Longhuang. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to live so comfortably. Niu Hongtian was one of them. Although on the surface, outsiders thought that he was glorious and was the sworn brother of the Emperor Longhuang. But in reality, only he knew. In front of Wang Longhuang, he was nothing more than a lowly grandson. Wang Longhuang liked to be worshipped and revered, so he had to act like a slave, flattering and fawning on others in order to maintain his position as the Black Ox Great Hoodlum. Only Wang Longhuang had the right to summon him. How could he have the guts to ask Wang Longhuang for help? To tell you the truth, I'm nothing in front of him. I really don't have that ability. Niu Hongtian looked like he was about to cry. Brother, please understand me. I'm just a gangster in your eyes. I really don't have any abilities. Su Yin scratched his head unhappily. In that case, there's no point in keeping you. Niu Hongtian was stunned. What did he mean? Lil Dongbei, give him a quick death. Su Yin nodded. Lil Dongbei rubbed his palms and walked forward. He really dared to kill him. Anyway, people like Niu Hongtian who bullied men and women deserve to die. He didn't deserve to be pitted. Don't. Niu Hongtian quickly waved his hand and begged for mercy. I'll think of a way. I'll definitely think of a way. Give me a chance. I'll think of a way to let you meet the emperor. Su Yin raised his hand and signaled Lil Dongbei to stop. His goal wasn't to take Niu Hongtian's life. Boss Niu, I knew you wouldn't let me down. Then I'll have to trouble you to arrange it. It's 10 p.m. now. I'll give you an hour to think of a way. This is the biggest concession I can make. An hour? How can this? Niu Hongtian was dumbfounded. Su Yin didn't say anything. Lil Dongbei rubbed his palms again. Brother Yun, this old man isn't honest. I think we shouldn't talk nonsense with him. Don't. There's a way. Niu Hongtian's head nodded like a chicken pecking. Every week on this day, Wang Longhuang will go to Old Xing's nightclub to visit a girl named Lan Xing. She's number 185, the star of Empire's nightclub. Tonight at 11 p.m., Wang Longhuang will definitely go to the nightclub and ask for her number. As long as you go there and wait for him, you'll definitely see him. Su Yin was stunned. There was still an hour. How long is the journey from here to the nightclub you mentioned? There's less traffic at night. 20 minutes is enough. It's at Wanshan West Road. It's called Empire's Nightclub. Niu Hongtian said. If you need, I'll send you there personally. How do you want me to believe you? Su Yin smiled faintly. If you randomly pick a place and we go there empty-handed, I'm afraid it won't be so easy to find you later, right? Niu Hongtian pointed at himself. Do you think we dare to deceive you now? Brother, I'm already at this point. I just want to save my own life. Su Yin saw a roll of tape on the table in the corner. He gestured for little Dongbei to get it. Boss Niu, this is our first time working together. We haven't established a relationship of mutual trust. You have to understand me. I'll leave you here first. If I go there and really see Wang Longhuang, I'll come back and let you go. Little Dongbei got the tape and tied Niu Hongtian to the chair like a dumpling. After the tape was used up, Niu Hongtian was like a mummy, unable to move at all. Lend me your car first. Su Yin smiled. I've just arrived in London, and I'm already acquainted with Boss Niu. It's really a lucky thing. As for the investment you mentioned, I'm sorry. I really don't have that much money. Although my car is expensive, I didn't buy it with my own money. I'll give you a saying. Those who can't afford to drive a luxury car are definitely not rich. But those who can drive a luxury car are not necessarily rich either. Don't look at people like a little girl who hasn't experienced the baptism of society. You're so shallow. Niu Hongtian still wanted to fight for some power for himself, but little Dongbei stuffed his mouth with a rag. He could only make woo-woo-woo-woo sounds. No one could understand what he was saying. Thank you for today. After Su Yin finished speaking, he walked out of the finance company's door with little Dongbei. After the vicious dog in the iron cage saw Su Yin and little Dongbei come out, it obediently lay on the ground and whimpered pitifully. Su Yin glanced at little Dongbei. You really scared the dog with the smell of a wild boar. You should control yourself in the future. Little Dongbei was confused. Really? Brother Yun, why do I feel like this dog is secretly looking at you? The person it's afraid of shouldn't be me. I'm not some evil person. What does this have to do with me? I'm so handsome. Why would it be afraid of me? Suyun rolled his eyes at little Dongbei. I've only eaten Tibetan Mastiff hot pot once in my life. I don't usually eat dog meat. Chapter 795. Suyun and little Dongbei drove Niu Hongtian's 7 Series BMW, turned on the GPS, and directly found the nightclub called Empire Night on Wanshan West Road. It was 12 kilometers away from the destination, and 20 minutes was enough to get there. Suyun drove unhurriedly and asked little Dongbei to check if there was any cash or something like that in the car. As soon as little Dongbei opened the storage box in front of the passenger seat, he saw more than a dozen bundles of cash. It was probably the interest that Niu Hongtian had just collected today, and he hadn't had time to take it out of the car. Of course, in the eyes of such a big gangster, more than 100,000 yuan was pocket money. I was worried that I didn't have the money to call a prostitute when we go to the nightclub. Now I don't have to worry. Suyun smiled and said, Today I'll take you to see what the bright and colorful world is. I'll let you see how lively the nightlife of these corrupt people is. It's too corrupt. Our Huaxia's crackdown on pornography and illegal activities is not thorough enough. These people always have a loophole. Little Dongbei found that in addition to the cash, he also found 2 boxes of Durex, ultra-thin and floating point. He took them out and showed them to Suyun. Brother, let's take this with us. No matter what, we have to pay attention to hygiene, right? Suyun directly hit little Dongbei's head. I'm just making fun of you. Do you really think I'm taking you to the nightclub for fun? Throw it back. Little Dongbei scratched his head resentfully and muttered. You said it like it's true. Didn't I prepare it for you? I'm not that kind of person. So I'm that kind of person? F***ck. Suyun raised his hand again and hit little Dongbei's head. Think of something healthy in your head. Who do you think your brother Yin is? No matter what, I'm still a person who won the Best Youth Award. In the room, Niu Hongtian pricked up his ears as much as possible and listened to the sound of the engine gradually fading away. When he was sure that the car was completely gone, he began to cry for help from the thugs who were beaten next to him. However, his men were all knocked out, and none of them responded. None of these fellows were pretending to be unconscious. They were all lying down. Niu Hongtian had no other choice. He wriggled his body like an earthworm and inched closer and closer to the coffee table. In the entire room, the sharpest thing he could think of was the edge of the marble coffee table. He was glad that the other party didn't find any rope in the room. Although the number of wraps around the tape was enough, and it did have a lot of binding power, its abrasion resistance was still a little lacking. Niu Hongtian didn't need to work so hard to grind an iron pestle into a needle. He only needed to break the tape. Today's matter was not over. Just now he had no choice but to tell Suyun and the others about Wang Longhuang to protect himself. If Wang Longhuang knew about it in the future, he would definitely not have a good time. He had to hurry up and contact Wang Longhuang before Suyun and the others met with Wang Longhuang. He had to tell Wang Longhuang what had happened. Only then could he plead Wang Longhuang to give him a chance to correct his mistake. After all, he still had to spend his days in the land of southern London. Everything he had was here. If he offended Wang Longhuang, he would really be finished. Relying on his inner conviction, Niu Hongtian grinded harder and harder. Even though his wrists were in pain, he didn't care about it. 20 minutes later, Suyun and the others had already parked their car in the parking lot in front of the Empire nightclub. This nightclub was really big. Little Dongbei, who had never been to such an occasion, was only left with astonishment. In the parking lot, Accord, Passat, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, and so on were all low-class cars. People's living standards were getting higher and higher. Suyun couldn't help but sigh. Those who could afford to live in a house and drive a luxury car didn't lack money to enrich their spiritual life. This large nightclub had become a good place to pass the time. Accompanying clients, discussing business, and making cooperation. Now, if one wanted to do something, how could he not come to such places to spend money? Su Yin asked little Dongbei to bring the 100,000 yuan from Niu Hongtian's car with him. Then, the two of them swaggered into the Empire nightclub. At the entrance of the hall, there were 8 beautiful ladies in Cheongsam standing on the left and right. They greeted in unison. "Good evening, sir. We wish you a pleasant night." The moment they entered, they would make you feel that it was worth it even if you spent 30 or 20,000 yuan. "Sir, please come in." The receptionists who came to serve them were all beauties. This nightclub was probably the most high-class nightclub in the whole of southern London. Otherwise, Wang Longhuang wouldn't have taken a fancy to it. "Let's find a place to drink and sing. We'll find a few ladies to accompany us." Su Yin swaggered inside. Little Dongbei, who had 100,000 yuan on him, followed closely behind. Under the guidance of the receptionist, the two of them came to a dimly lit room. The receptionist gestured for them to order drinks. Su Yin ordered a drink set that was 18,000 yuan. Then, the receptionist gestured for them to wait for a moment. The ladies would be here soon. Then, she turned and left the room. About 2 minutes later, the manager in charge of this area knocked on the door and walked in. He waved his hand outside the door. More than a dozen ladies filed in, and stood in a row in front of Su Yin and little Dongbei. "Good evening, two gentlemen." This polite bow made little Dongbei feel that they didn't look like girls who would do such a thing at all. The manager smiled and said, "Sirs, these ladies are all brand new. There are university students, cashiers, and part-time workers. They are all very clean. I wonder if the two of you are interested in them?" Little Dongbei thought, "Oh my God. I really didn't know that the society under the cover of night had such a dark side. I didn't expect that there would be ladies who were so dignified and reserved in front of acquaintances, who could be so open and slutty in front of strange men at night. Can we order the brand directly?" Su Yin asked. The manager nodded. "Of course, hee. It seems that the two of you are also our ladies' regular customers. Then let number 185 come over." Su Yin didn't intend to curry favor with them. He asked the manager for a membership card that could give him a 2% discount in the future. He wouldn't patronize often. Let them go. When the ladies heard that they were customers who wanted the brand, they tactfully turned and left the room. The manager was stunned for a moment. Then he said to the two of them embarrassedly, "I'm sorry. The two of you may not know, but number 185 is not available tonight." "Why? Are you afraid that we can't afford it?" Su Yin waved his hand. Little Dongbei directly took out a stack of money, and quickly took out more than a dozen bills. He stepped forward and stuffed them into the manager's jacket pocket. "I told you to call them. Just do your job well." The manager smiled awkwardly. He took out the money and returned it with both hands. "Gentlemen, it's not that I don't want to serve you well. It's because there are already customers who have made reservations. Number 185 is going to accompany them at 11 o'clock, so..." Chapter 796. Su Yin smiled. "We don't need her to accompany us for too long. Half an hour, $50,000. We just need to drink and chat. You can ask her. If she's willing to come, I'll give you another $2,000 as a tip. Manager, I think you can arrange this easily, right? Haha, this might be the easiest 2,000 yuan you'll earn in your life. Just say the word." The manager thought for a moment. Little Dongbei urged, "If you don't hurry up, the 2,000 yuan will be gone. We won't delay the guest she's accompanying at 11 o'clock. Just half an hour." "Okay, then I'll help you call her over. If she doesn't come, then I can't do anything," the manager said uncertainly. "If you can't find her, you'll have to return the 1,000 yuan I gave you earlier." Little Dongbei said, "There's no such thing as a free lunch in the world. 3,000 yuan is equivalent to an ordinary office worker's monthly salary. Manager, you don't want to miss out on such easy money, right?" The manager nodded vigorously. Okay. Please wait for a moment. I'll try my best to persuade her to come over. Then let's agree. Just half an hour. She has to leave at 11 o'clock because the guest she's accompanying at 11 o'clock is someone we can't afford to offend. Even our chairman Xing can't afford to offend him. We're all businessmen. We know how to keep our promises. Don't worry. Su Yin, bring her here. Take the 2,000 yuan and leave. Tell her that she's only accompanying us for half an hour, and the 50,000 yuan is hers. Okay, I'll do as you say right away. After the manager finished speaking, he turned around and quickly left. It was rare to see such easy money, and it was rare to see such generous customers. Usually there were generous customers who would tip him, but at most it was 100 yuan. The purpose was for him to find a beautiful girl to bring in for them to choose from. The money he earned today was equivalent to a month's worth of tips. Little Dongbei was a little uncertain. Can he bring her here? Look at him. He definitely knows who that girl is accompanying at 11 o'clock. Money makes the world go round. Su Yun. In order to earn that 2,000 yuan tip, he will definitely persuade that girl. Also, the price we offered to that girl is not low. 50,000 yuan for half an hour. How big is the company that can make such a high income? She's just sitting on the sofa and drinking a glass of wine. How can she not do that? The power of money was absolutely enormous. 5 minutes later, the manager appeared in Su Yun's private room with a girl whose looks and figure could be considered to be of the highest quality. Sirs, I've brought him to you. The manager smiled and kept rubbing his hands together. Little Dongbei knew what he meant. He went forward and gave him 2,000 yuan. Then he told him to close the door and leave. Brothers, you're really generous. The girl sat beside Su Yun without any restraint. She held onto Su Yun's arm and said, "Let's make it clear first. Let's drink and chat. Even if you want to hug, kiss and touch me, it doesn't matter. But I can't accompany you to do bad things." Su Yun. You're called Lan Xing? The girl was stunned. She looked at Su Yun in surprise. How do you know my name? Su Yun nodded. That was right. He had never been to this nightclub. No matter what, he had to confirm whether this girl was really number 185. Judging from her reaction, it shouldn't be wrong. That manager didn't play any tricks. I can read faces. Su Yun smiled slightly. I can see it. Lan Xing didn't believe this. She looked up and down at Su Yun with a puzzled gaze. Did someone send you to test me? Test you for what? Su Yun didn't understand and shook his head. I'm just a customer who came here to drink and have fun. Little Dongbei didn't understand why Su Yun did this, but he knew that Su Yun must have his reasons, so he didn't say much. This 18,000 drink set was a bottle of Royal Salute, plus a luxurious fruit plate and a few bottles of drinks. It was really evil. Although the money was taken from Niu Hongtian's car, Little Dongbei still felt distressed. He sat aside and ate the expensive fruit. Then do you want me to drink with you or sing with you? Lan Xing generously unbuttoned a button on his chest. I know that since you're willing to pay $50,000 for half an hour of my time, you're definitely not satisfied with just drinking and chatting. Don't be restrained when you want to do something. We're all here to have fun. There's no need to be so restrained. Su Yun smiled helplessly. Yes, 50,000 for half an hour just to drink and chat. It's really not worth it. But if I don't do this, I'm afraid the person I want to see won't take the initiative to come to me. Lan Xing's eyes widened in surprise. You want to see me that much? Handsome, you can't be saying that you fell in love with me, right? He. I won't be friends with a boy who knows that I'm in this line of work. Because even if you love me, knowing that I'm in this line of work will leave a shadow in your heart. Su Yun shook his head. You misunderstood. The person I want to see is not you. Lan Xing was silent for a moment. Then she said with suspicion, Are you crazy? You said the person you want to see. Is it? Yes, I know that in half an hour, Wang Longhuang will come here to accompany you. That's why I asked you to accompany me. When he can't find you, he will naturally come here to find me. Su Yun smiled slightly. He didn't seem to be joking at all. Lan Xing immediately stood up. If you want to die, I won't accompany you. Do you know who Wang Longhuang is? If you offend him, you're courting death. I won't accompany you to do this kind of thing. He said that every week on this day, I can't sit with any guests and wait for him to patronize. If he knows that I come out to accompany guests before he comes, he will definitely kill me. Little Dongbei blocked Lan Xing's way. Our Huaxia is a society ruled by law. He can't do whatever he wants. You two are simply crazy, Lan Xing said. Everyone knows that he's the son of Lu Nan. In Lu Nan, whatever he wanted to do, there was nothing he couldn't do. A society ruled by law? A society ruled by law is also built under the sun. Outside of the sun, do you know how dark and scary it is? He's not the ordinary person you think he is. Su Yin was still sitting on the sofa calmly. Maybe we're not the ordinary people you think we are. Lan Xing panicked and looked at Su Yun with pleading eyes. Big brother, I beg you to let me out. I still have parents who are seriously ill at home. They are waiting for me to earn money and send it back to treat them. I really don't want to die. I beg you, just take pity on me. That's what all the girls say. Can't you make up a new story? Little Dongbei shook his head helplessly and sighed. Chapter 797. Lan Xing shook her head vigorously. If you really don't want to live, there's no need to drag me down with you, right? I didn't make up a story to lie to you. Do you think I want to be a prostitute here? Do you think I'm willing to ruin myself? I really have no choice. I only hope that one day, I'll earn enough money and leave this damned place of London forever. Please don't disturb my life, okay? What illness do your parents have? Su Yin asked. There were still 20 minutes to 11, so he wasn't in a hurry. My father has kidney failure and needs a kidney transplant. My mother has stomach cancer. Last year, half of her stomach was removed, but this year, she found out that there's a problem with her heart and needs a heart bypass surgery. As Lan Xing spoke, she lowered her head deeply and clenched her hands slightly trembled. I'm like the jinx of my family. Now I only hope that they can get better. I really have no choice but to do this. Little Dongbei frowned and still didn't believe. It's that bad. You're too cruel in making up stories. Even so, it's not like you're not pretty. You can find someone with money and conditions to marry. That way, won't you have the money to treat your parents? Hearing this, Lan Xing's face revealed a cold smile. In today's society, how cold people are. I've seen a lot of them. I also want to find someone to marry. Find someone with some financial power, who can provide medical conditions for my parents. If there really is such a person, I'll be willing to be an ox or a horse for the rest of my life to serve him and his family. But do you think people nowadays are all so kind? The men who have come into contact with me only like my appearance. Once they know that my parents are seriously ill, they'll hide as far away as possible. No one wants to add more burden to themselves. If you find a rich man, I'm afraid he won't care about the money for medical treatment, right? Little Dongbei still didn't understand. No matter what, living with one person is better than living with so many men in this kind of place, right? Forget it, forget it. I'm just listening to you. You're pretty good at making up stories. Why don't you go to 17K novel website to write a novel? Maybe it'll become popular. Su Yin raised his hand to signal for little Dongbei to stop talking. I don't think she's making up a story for us to hear. Lan Xing was stunned. She suddenly raised her hand and stared at Su Yun with wide eyes. She never expected anyone to really believe her story, because in the industry she was in now, most of the young ladies would make up the same story. Over time, this was no longer pitiful. Instead, it became a joke among the customers. No one would take it seriously. Whoever did would be too inexperienced, and they would definitely be ripped off by the young ladies. Even Little Northeast, who was visiting such a place for the first time, didn't believe it. He often saw such reports on the news, but Su Yin actually believed it? This puzzled little Dongbei. He stared at Su Yin with wide eyes. Brother Yin, don't tell me you really believe him? If her hands weren't trembling when she talked about her parents, I definitely wouldn't have believed it, Su Yin said lightly. But now I believe it. In your line of work, perhaps many people have suffered because of these tragic reasons. Otherwise, who would be willing to ruin their own body? Lan Xing saw that Su Yin believed her, so she begged. Then I beg you to let me out. Otherwise, when the emperor arrives, I really can't explain it to him. I beg you. I don't want your money. Is that okay? As long as you let me leave here, after the emperor leaves. It doesn't matter how you want me to accompany you, okay? Su-yin could only shake his head apologetically. Of course not, because if you leave, Wang Longhuang won't take the initiative to come to us. His people aren't good people. I don't want to have friction with the people around him before I meet my future ally. That will only reduce his trust in me. I don't know what you're talking about, but all this has nothing to do with me, Lan Xing said. No matter what, I have to leave. If you continue to stop me, I'll call for help. I suggest that you don't do that, Su-yin said. Little Northeast walked in front of Lan Xing. I'll give you the same suggestion. You have two choices. First, you sit quietly on the sofa and wait. Second, I'll find something to tie you to the sofa. If you want to call for help, believe me, before the people outside here, I'll have already sealed your mouth. Lan Xing really didn't understand why she was involved in this kind of headache-inducing matter for no reason. She really didn't have a choice. Someone who even dared to offend the emperor of Lunan was obviously not someone to be trifled with. She didn't want to offend them. It seems that Wang Longhuang will give you a lot of money every time he comes, Su-yin said. Have you earned enough for your parents' surgery fees? Lan Xing wasn't in the mood to chat. She just nodded silently. Although I earned enough for the surgery fees, I still need a lot of money to pay for their subsequent hospitalization and nutrition fees. I still need to work here for a while. Su-yin nodded. Then have you ever thought that if you want to leave, but Wang Longhuang won't let you go? Oh. Lan Xing shook her head. It seemed that she really didn't want to talk. Su-yin was tactful and did not ask further. After all, they were the ones who had not been kind enough. However, there was really no way to resolve the matter. He nodded at little Dongbei and gestured for him to pass the money to her. Little Northeast also pitied this girl. He took the initiative to change the agreed 50,000 to 60,000 and put it in front of Lan Xing. To be honest, this was definitely the easiest tens of thousands of yuan that Lan Xing had earned in her life. But the psychological pressure was so great that she didn't know how to bear it. Actually, it's not as complicated as you think. Su-yin, as long as your parents' surgery is successful, their biggest wish is to have their daughter by their side. Stop as soon as possible. The temptation of this industry is too great. If you don't get out early, you'll only sink deeper and deeper. Find a proper job. As long as you work hard, you can also raise a family. To be honest, Su-yun's words touched Lan Xing. No man had ever been so considerate for her. My brother is doing this for your own good. Little Northeast said. Leaving Lunan is definitely the best choice. Go to a place where no one knows you, and find a motivated young man to get married. Then, forget everything that should be forgotten. Get married? Lan Xing didn't dare to think about it. Ever since she decided to do this industry, she had never thought about it. She didn't want to carry so much guilt for the rest of her life. Bang bang bang. After a series of urgent knocks on the door, the manager ran in. The first thing he did when he entered was to say to Lan Xing, Number 185. Hurry up and get out. The emperor is here. After that, he explained to Su-yin and Little Northeast, I'm sorry, it's been half an hour. Hee, the guest that we made a reservation before has arrived. Chapter 798. Change your mind. The manager widened his eyes and said, Two bosses, you can't do this. Really listen to me. I'm doing this for your own good. Do you know who booked her? If you know, you won't say that. Su-yin smiled and poured 2 glasses of wine. It's because I know who it is that I have to do this. I've long wanted to see the Emperor of Lunan. Manager, you won't refuse to give me this chance, right? Shock. Other than shock, there was still more shock. The manager would never have guessed that this was a show. The 2 young people in front of him really didn't care about their lives. They could have offended anyone, but they just had to go against Wang Longhuang. Wasn't this playing with their lives? If it wasn't for the fact that he was given 1,000 yuan, he really wanted to say to them, if you don't seek death, you won't die. If there's nothing else, then I won't send you off. Su-yin smiled very calmly. He didn't look scared at all. The manager knew that there was no point in talking nonsense. He looked at Lan Xing and then turned to leave. Something was probably going to happen tonight. Before the manager went to explain to Wang Longhuang, he quickly dialed his boss's number. He had to inform him of this matter first. Director Xing, something bad has happened. Number 185 is privately accompanying a guest today. Now that the emperor has arrived, the guest is not letting him go. Of course, he had to shirk his responsibility first. Otherwise, he would be the one who had to bear the consequences. Boss Xing on the other side of the phone was furious. After cursing for a while, he hung up and rushed over as fast as he could. Emperor, you're here. The manager in charge bowed and ran forward. His face was full of flattery and flattery. You must be tired from sitting in the car. Do you want me to arrange an old Chinese doctor to give you a massage? Wang Longhuang was almost 40 years old. However, his dressing made him look at least 5 years younger than his actual age. Because of the influence of the entire family in Lunan for so many years, he had a natural arrogance in his bones. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that he was the emperor of Lunan. The way he looked at people was no different from how he looked at slaves. Right beside Wang Longhuang was his most trusted right-hand man, Black Tiger Luo Xing dressed in black. He coldly said, "Enough nonsense. Let number 185 serve him. You don't have to worry about anything else." Yes. Brother Hu. The manager in charge nodded. But there is something I want to explain to you. Luo Xing was stunned. You have something to explain to me? What do you mean? Big brother Hu, this way please. The manager in charge acted as if he was treading on thin ice. Fine beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. I still have to ask Big Brother Hu for help with this matter. Luo Xing frowned. You really don't know your place. Is the Son of Heaven's matter more important than your own? Settle Tianzi first, then tell me if there's anything else. You don't know what's good for you. The manager's legs turned to jelly. Once Luo Xing got angry, he couldn't stand still. However, he still had to say what needed to be said. It seemed like the 4,000 yuan wasn't that easy to earn. Tianzi, Brother Hu, number 185. Luo Xing grabbed the manager's collar and lifted him up. You've been in this business for so long. Didn't old Xing tell you the rules? You even dared to let number 185 accompany other guests tonight. I think you must have eaten a bear's heart and leopard's guts. Do you want to die early so that you can meet your ancestors? Brother Hu, I'm wrong. Listen to me. I didn't arrange this. I couldn't stop it, right? The manager in charge was so scared that his face turned yellow. Tianzi, you're a magnanimous person. Please give me a chance. I beg you. Where is she? Wang Longhuang, on the other hand, appeared to be much calmer. He didn't know when, but he had an inexplicable hobby. He liked these young ladies from outside. No matter how beautiful they were, if he took them as his mistress, he would get sick of them in less than a week. It was as if the wildflowers were more fragrant than the flowers at home. He liked the ladies from outside, but there weren't many of them. The only ones he liked were the blue planet of Empire Nightscape. Of course, if he liked them, Boss Xing of Empire Nightscape would definitely keep them as his mistress and serve him alone. However, Wang Longhuang knew that once that happened, he would lose interest. He didn't ask old Xing to do that. He only asked the girl not to accompany other guests one night a week. After she was clean, she would wait to accompany him. In this way, 3 months had passed. Wang Longhuang was still full of interest. Then this became an unwritten rule. Number 185, Blue Planet, couldn't accompany other guests to drink on this night every week. She had to wait until 11 p.m. to serve Wang Longhuang alone. Of course, the money Wang Longhuang gave her made her willing to do that. It was 50,000 yuan a night every time. Say it. Luo Xing said to the manager. The manager hurriedly told Wang Longhuang the number of the private room Su Yin was in. Before he could continue to beg for mercy, Luo Xing directly threw him away. With a loud bang, the manager's lumbar spine hit the edge of the coffee table in the lounge area at the side of the hall. The tearing pain made him unable to get up. If his lumbar spine was broken for 3 or 4,000 yuan, it was really not worth it. However, this was the result. The more he thought about it, the more scared he felt. The manager stood up with the help of the other waiters. He found that he couldn't move his legs at all. Sweat dripped down his forehead. Was he really finished? If so, he would have to spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. Luo Xing was the one who threw him. Who could he find to reason with? Even if his teeth were broken, he could only swallow it in his stomach. Luo Xing walked in front with large strides. Wang Longhuang followed behind him unhurriedly. At this moment his phone rang. It made him somewhat impatient. "Hello. Brother, it's me." The crying voice on the other side of the phone sounded as if his father had died. "Niu Hongtian, what's wrong with you? Why can't you say it during the day? Calling me now. Don't you know that I hate to listen to phone calls at this time?" Wang Longhuang was somewhat impatient. "If you have something to say it quickly. Brother, don't go to Empire nightclub today. There are two guys who want to harm you." Niu Hongtian said loyally. "I was almost killed by them. They trapped me, took my car and went to Empire nightclub. Brother, they are all masters, very powerful masters. My people are like ants in front of them. They have no power to resist at all." Wang Longhuang suddenly stopped. "Are you telling the truth?" Seeing Wang Longhuang suddenly stop, Luo Xing also stopped and looked back at him. "Yes, it's absolutely true," Niu Hongtian said. "I just got rid of the bindings with great difficulty. The first thing I did was to call you." Pa Wang Longhuang hung up the phone without waiting for Niu Hongtian to claim credit. He said to Luo Xing indifferently, "Go to the parking lot outside and see if Niu Hongtian's car is there." Chapter 799. Lan Xing sat quietly in the private room. Neither Su Yin nor little Dongbei had any intention of touching her. This made her feel both gratified and sad. Gratified because these two made her realize that there were still good men in this world. The sad thing was that such a good man would definitely think that she was dirty and would never touch her. Su Yin glanced at the time from time to time. The manager had been out for 5 minutes. If he guessed correctly, Wang Longhuang should have appeared, right? But so far, Su Yin hadn't seen any signs of someone coming. Could it be that the manager took a few thousand yuan and convinced Wang Longhuang to leave? This was far too different from Su Yin's imagination of Wang Longhuang's personality, right? "Brother Yin, do you want me to go out and take a look?" Little Dongbei couldn't sit still anymore. "If he leaves, wouldn't we be wasting time waiting?" Seeing that Su Yin didn't stop him, little Dongbei got up and prepared to go out and take a look. Just as little Dongbei walked to the door of the private room, Su Yin suddenly felt a strong murderous aura outside the door. He exclaimed, "Dodge." Although Su Yin notified little Dongbei immediately, he was still a step too late. The door was kicked open by a strong force and slammed into little Dongbei's body. Although little Dongbei raised his arms in time to block, he still couldn't block the force and was sent flying. Lan Xing was scared out of her wits when she saw this scene. She curled up in a corner of the room and didn't dare to make a sound. Su Yin got up and stood in front of little Dongbei and Lan Xing to prevent little Dongbei from getting hurt again. Little Dongbei's resistance was really good. His whole body was slammed into the wall, but he could still stand up. However, the feeling of his bones falling apart wasn't very good. F***ck. Little Dongbei spat. It wasn't that he hadn't seen anything during this period of time with Su Yun. He had also fought with Lung Chun, an expert of the profound world realm. However, he had to admit that the force he felt this time was the strongest. Su Yun had already seen the person who appeared at the door. This also declared that the plan he wanted to discuss was completely ruined. The person at the door was Wang Longhuang's right-hand man, Black Tiger Luo Xing. He appeared, but Wang Longhuang was not beside him. Clearly, the other party did not come here to talk to him. "Not bad, you can endure it." Luo Xing coldly spoke. "If you are tired of living, I can send you all on your way." "You're Luo Xing?" "Su Yin. I didn't come to Lunan to cause trouble for you. He just wants to meet the Emperor, the Dragon Emperor, and talk about something that interests him." Luo Xing's face was still gloomy. "I am Luo Xing. I can tell you that the thing that Tianzi is most interested in right now is to see those who offend him die." As soon as he finished speaking, Luo Xing pounced on Su Yun with the evil tiger leaves the mountain. That fist wind was biting cold, without the slightest intention of showing any mercy. He started with a killing blow. Suyin did not dare to be careless when a super expert started with a killing blow. Even though he had already broken through to the master realm, his state of mind was still unstable. He still had to be careful. When Luo Xing's consecutive killing blows were blocked by Su Yun, Luo Xing realized that he had met a strong opponent. He did not dare to be careless anymore. Someone who dared to have designs on Wang Longhuang and Lu Nan was definitely not a nobody. Who are you guys? Luo Xing asked cautiously. Su Yun did not want to make his relationship with Wang Longhuang too tense. The first thing he wanted to do was to try his best to avoid a fight. Who we are is not important. You only need to know that I'm not here to go against you guys. I just want to cooperate with you. Luo Xing, I know that you're a 9th stage super expert, but I can tell you clearly that you're not strong enough to win against me. Of course, Luo Xing was aware of this situation. Otherwise, he would not have stopped. The other party had made it so clear. Obviously, he was telling him that his state of mind was above the master realm. Luo Xing did not dare to underestimate this. Although the strength of the guy who was sent flying by him when he opened the door was not that abnormal, from the reflection of his defense, he was definitely not weak. He already had no chance of winning against a master in the Grandmaster realm, let alone 2 masters at the same time. Even if I'm not strong enough, if you guys want to make a move on Tianzi, you'll have to step over my dead body first. Luo Xing sneered. I've said it before. I'm not here to cause trouble. Su Yun emphasized again. If I'm not wrong, you guys should really want to know the whereabouts of Miao Dao and Hu Lai, right? A trace of surprise flashed across Luo Xing's eyes. Those 2 traitors have always been a headache for the famous Tianzi of Lu Nan. Su Yun. Luo Xing, it's not that I can't beat you. I just don't want to fight with you. I hope that you can tell Wang Longhuang that if he wants to know the whereabouts of the 2 traitors that he can't tolerate, I'm willing to cooperate at any time. Luo Xing narrowed his eyes and was very puzzled. Then what's your purpose? My purpose is the same as yours. If you guys are not willing to cooperate, then there's no need to know. Su Yun. I'm here today to wait for Wang Longhuang. I have no ill intentions. But now, it seems that he's probably already left? Luo Xing did not answer, nor did he deny it. All right, I'll pass on your words. Since we've already met, I believe that with your influence in Lu Nan, it won't be hard to find me again, right? Su Yun. There's no need to leave any contact details, right? Luo Xing swung his hand and turned to leave. Little Northeast rubbed his stifled chest and said unwillingly, Brother Yin, you're letting him go just like that? That kick just now was for nothing. That guy was too ruthless, right? If it wasn't for the good quality of the door, I reckon that a few of my ribs would have been broken. Su Yin smiled slightly. You're good, not bad. Black Tiger is a 9th level super expert. His strength is only a little lower than mine. Even if Pigeon was here, I'm afraid that she wouldn't be his match. But I don't understand why such a person would willingly submit to Wang Longhuang. Looks like Wang Longhuang isn't just a guy with strong strength. Brother Yin, do you think they'll contact us? Little Northeast asked. What if they find trouble with us again? If Wang Longhuang is a person with a brain, he won't do this. Su Yin. Within 2 days, they'll definitely find us to have a good talk. This is the reason why I let Luo Xing go. If we touch his people, I'm afraid that we won't be able to sit down and have a good talk. Little Northeast nodded. I understand. Being rash isn't the way to solve problems. Su Yin looked at the door that Luo Xing kicked open. If you don't want to pay, then let's hurry up and leave. Little Northeast shook his head like a rattledrum. He really didn't want to pay. After all, he wasn't the one who kicked open the door. Wait a minute. Lan Xing suddenly spoke. She pointed at the $60,000 that Little Northeast gave her. You guys really don't want this money? Chapter 800. After coming to the parking lot, Su Yin found a serious problem. The 7 Series BMW that they borrowed from Niu Hongtian had its wheels locked. The security guard wouldn't do this kind of thing. He couldn't afford to offend the guests who parked here, even if they drove Baojun, let alone those who drove a BMW. Who is so wicked? Little Dongbei said with hatred. Su Yin smiled slightly. It seems that tape can't tie people up. Wang Longhuang didn't appear just now. Niu Hongtian must have called to inform him. His car was locked. He must have arranged for someone to do it. He is afraid that we won't return the car to him after we drive it away. Little Dongbei looked around and didn't see anyone suspicious. Probably the person who locked the wheels has already hidden. Brother Yin, how do we go back? Run back. I don't have the energy to exercise now. Su Yin. Take a taxi back. However, we can't drive this car. We can't let Niu Hongtian drive it so smoothly, right? Little Dongbei looked at Su Yin and immediately nodded with a smirk. Understood. I will let him only stare when he comes later. After that, Su Yin opened the door, and Little Dongbei got in directly. About 2 minutes later, Little Dongbei got out of the car with satisfaction. This move of yours is really vicious. Su Yin smiled bitterly and said, Isn't this a little too vicious and disgusting? Only someone with a brain like yours could come up with such a wicked idea. Even I have to admit defeat. I admire you. When Niu Hongtian comes later, he will definitely be mad. Brother Yin, I did this because of you, said Little Dongbei. Su Yin shook his head helplessly. I meant to let you go in and remove the steering wheel and cut the ignition wire. I didn't ask you to do this. Hee, that's because I didn't understand what you meant. However, my trick is definitely more interesting than your trick of cutting the ignition wire. Little Northeast said. If that's the case, he'll at most find someone to repair the car. If that's the case, I guarantee that he'll only be able to sell it at a low price. It seems that I really can't buy a second-hand car that I don't understand the situation in the future. Su Yin smiled bitterly. The cheaper it is, the easier it is for something big to happen. As the two of them talked, they walked to the roadside and took a taxi. On the way, they threw the BMW car key into the sewer. Just after Su Yin and Little Dongbei left, two people got out of an inconspicuous Mazda in the corner of the parking lot and sneakily came to the front of the 7 Series BMW. After observing it for a long time, they finally relaxed. One of them bent over to unlock the wheel, while the other quickly dialed a number. Brother Black Ox, we're done. Those two fellows have left. Yes. Don't worry, I promise that the car will be fine. Nothing happened at all. After the kid promised, he hung up the phone proudly and said to his companion, Brother Neo said that he would be there in 10 minutes. How was it? Was it easy to earn 1,000 yuan? Easy, it was too easy. The other person also nodded vigorously and came over to lock the wheel. After waiting for less than 10 minutes, they got 1,000 yuan. Of course, it was easy. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, Niu Hongtian hurriedly took a taxi and rushed over. After getting out of the car, he took out his wallet and counted 1,000 yuan, and threw it to the two boys. Okay, thanks to you guys for today's matter. Later, if Brother Neo has any good things, I won't forget to reward you. The two guys took the money excitedly. After thanking him 1,000 times, they drove away happily. Niu Hongtian took out the spare key that he found at home from his pocket, and sighed in his heart. Tonight he suffered a double loss. He asked his underling to pretend to be a traffic police, but he didn't extort much money. So many of his thugs were in the hospital. After getting into such a trouble, he was afraid of losing face, but he couldn't call others to tell. Moreover, Wang Longhuang's attitude towards him was very cold. He didn't know if he had offended him. These troubles were caused by the two boys who drove the Qian. However, Niu Hongtian couldn't do anything even if he gritted his teeth. He didn't have the ability to deal with them. Moreover, these two guys weren't killed by Wang Longhuang's people. They were even able to swagger away. This made him feel even more uneasy. Now the only thing that could calm Niu Hongtian down was that he got back his beloved car. This car was only changed for 3 months. He cherished it very much. He liked the BMW brand since he was young, even more than Mercedes-Benz. As soon as he opened the door, a strong stench hit his face. Niu Hongtian didn't know that there would be such a smell. He didn't have time to hold his breath. This smell almost made him vomit the supper that he had eaten last night. Isn't this going too far? They actually peed in his $1 million luxury car. Niu Hongtian's fist was almost crushed. That kind of sullenness and anger wasn't something that anyone could understand. Looking at the pool of urine on the big cushion under the driver's seat, Niu Hongtian had the urge to bang his head against the wall. He swore that he had never done such a disgusting thing in his life. But now, his underlings were all in the hospital. Who could help him solve this problem? He could only personally take the cushion out and throw it into the green belt of the parking lot. Damn bastards. Don't give me a chance to catch you. If I catch you, I will definitely kill you. Niu Hongtian was so angry that his whole body was trembling. He had to vent this anger. Otherwise, he would lose at least 1.5 years of his life. Although the smell in the car was still very strong, Niu Hongtian was afraid that a long night would bring trouble. If he waited here to dry the smell, what if the two guys came back? It was better to hurry up and drive home, put it in the garage, and open the car windows to dry slowly. Niu Hongtian sat in the car. He immediately felt a sticky and warm feeling from his buttocks. He panicked and reached out to touch it. That sticky feeling was definitely unforgettable. This car didn't just have the appearance of urination. There was also defecation. Were they playing with his life? Niu Hongtian swore that he wouldn't want this car again even if he was beaten to death. In the future, when he bought a car, he would definitely not buy a BMW. In this life, as long as he thought of a BMW, there would be a shadow on his buttocks and hands that couldn't be washed away with disinfectant. Actually, little Dongbei didn't do it on purpose. He originally wanted to pee and teach Niu Hongtian a lesson. But when he took off his pants, his stomach felt a little cold. He couldn't help but relieve himself in the driver's seat. Furthermore, he used the only remaining pack of tissues in the car. So now, Niu Hongtian's hands and pants were covered with sticky stuff. He couldn't even find anything to wipe them off. Niu Hongtian finally made up his mind. He took off his pants and wiped his hands on the seat. He took off his clothes and wiped his hands clean. Then he threw everything away. She was only wearing her underwear as she drove home. Chapter 801. After Su Yin and little Dongbei took a taxi back to the hotel, Su Yin immediately checked out and asked for the deposit back. This was not because he was afraid that Wang Longhuang would find trouble with him. As long as he was in southern London, if Wang Longhuang could find him, he would be even happier. He was afraid that Wang Longhuang would not find him, but Niu Hongtian, who had broken down because of little Dongbei. Niu Hongtian was not a good person. He had so many tricks up his sleeves. If he found a prostitute to slander them like before and cause them to go to jail, they would not be able to get out again. Su Yin had just established a relationship with Wang Longhuang. He did not want to cause any more trouble. Although little Dongbei did not understand, he listened to everything Su Yin said. Anyway, he knew that if he followed Su Yin's instructions he would not go wrong. It was fine to leave this troublesome place first. Little Dongbei was also worried that a prostitute would come knocking at the door in the middle of the night. He was young and energetic. Who knew if he could control himself? After the two checked out, they immediately drove away from the hotel. They did not have a target, and casually found a small hotel to stay in. They did not talk for the night. The two left early the next morning. Other than waiting for Wang Longhuang's men to find him, Su Yin really had nothing else to do. No matter what, this place was Wang Longhuang's territory. When they were hungry at noon, the two coincidentally saw a medicinal cuisine restaurant. They went in with a professional attitude and ordered a few medicinal cuisines. After a few bites, Su Yin immediately understood why there were no customers in this medicinal cuisine restaurant. The taste of Chinese medicine was too strong. Nowadays, very few young people could accept this taste. Those who liked this taste were definitely old people. But how many old people would come out to eat in a restaurant when they had nothing to do? When Su Yin was complaining that this medicinal cuisine tasted worse than medicine, a few cars with covered license plates surrounded the entire medicinal cuisine restaurant. The one who took the lead to get out of the car was none other than Luo Xing, Big Brother Yin. They're really powerful. They can find us in a matter of minutes. Little Northeast put down his chopsticks and said, "From the looks of it, they don't have good intentions." I'm afraid they don't have anything good to say to us. Su Yin smiled faintly. When they left the Empire Night Club yesterday, they were already being watched. That was for sure. Luo Xing was very meticulous in his work. Otherwise, Wang Longhuang wouldn't have regarded him so highly. If he wanted to find Su Yin, it was indeed a matter of minutes. Although Luo Xing's attitude today was big, Su Yin believed that Luo Xing wasn't here to play tough with him. If he didn't want to talk nicely, he could hire a few snipers to shoot him from afar. Since he chose to look for Su Yin in person, it meant that he didn't want to play hard with Su Yin for the time being. Luo Xing walked into the medicinal cuisine restaurant under the protection of his underlings. The owner of the restaurant was extremely terrified. He really did not know how a commoner like him could have offended a big shot like Black Tiger Luo Xing. Isn't this Master Hu? Your presence brings light to my humble restaurant. The owner didn't know how to flatter Luo Xing, so he could only say something nice. Scram. Luo Xing only said one word. The two underlings behind him immediately pinned the owner against the wall. The waiters in the restaurant were so scared that they didn't dare to say anything. How would the owner dare to say anything? Even if Luo Xing wanted to smash the restaurant and quarrel, he could only endure it. The reason was too simple. He couldn't afford to offend Luo Xing. Fortunately, Luo Xing did not smash the restaurant like he had imagined. Instead, he walked straight to the only two customers in the restaurant. His underlings immediately pulled out a chair for Luo Xing. Luo Xing sat steadily in front of Su Yun and Little Northeast. Looking at his expression, he didn't seem to have any ill intentions. Master Hu is indeed a big shot. So many underlings are surrounding you. Have you eaten? If you haven't, I'll get the waiter to add another set of cutlery. You can order another 2 dishes. Consider it my treat. Su Yin smiled. It was not a bad idea to treat him to something so disgusting. Luo Xing didn't expect Su Yin to be so calm and friendly. The words that he originally wanted to say were disrupted by Su Yun's relaxed atmosphere. I don't have the time to look for you for a meal. Luo Xing said. I have something to ask you. Where did you meet Miao Dao and Hu Lai? How can you prove that what you said is true? Instead of lying to me? Su Yin shrugged his shoulders. Seems like I have nothing to talk about with Master Hu. I said before that the person I want to meet is the Emperor of Southern Lu, Long Huang. I don't want to talk nonsense with you, Black Tiger Luo Xing. Yesterday, we've already fought and said what we needed to say. Even if you bring this bunch of trash today, there's still no match for us. You know this very well, so do I. That's why you are not here to find trouble. Since Master Hu is not here to find trouble, then stop beating around the bush. If you don't have the time to look for me for a meal, then I really don't have the time to treat you to a meal. Su Yun's arrogance made Luo Xing unhappy, but what Su Yun said was the truth. All right, then I won't beat around the bush with you. But you have to know that if you don't tell me where you met them, the Emperor will not meet you. Luo Xing said. They are dead. So, is it that important where I met them? Su Yun said calmly. Luo Xing slammed his hand on the table. Dead? How did they die? I have said enough. You can call Wang Longhuang and ask him what he wants to do. Or I will leave now. If Wang Longhuang doesn't want to meet me, then I don't have to be polite to you. Luo Xing. Su Yun sneered. If you follow me or arrange for someone to follow me, then you have to be more careful. Luo Xing clenched his teeth. Su Yun was really hard to deal with. He couldn't even win in a verbal battle. All right. I will call the Emperor now. Then Luo Xing took out his phone and dialed Wang Longhuang's number. Emperor, I am with them now. On the other side of the phone, Wang Longhuang sounded interested. Did you get the answer? They said that the 2 guys are dead, Luo Xing said. If they want to know anything else, they want to talk to you personally. Emperor, you have to make a decision. The voice on the other side of the phone went silent. After more than 10 seconds, he finally said, All right, bring them to me. Luo Xing hung up the phone, stood up and said to Su Yin and Little Dongbei, Please, the Emperor wants to see you. However, I have to say this first. If you have any other schemes, even if I, Black Tiger, can't beat you, I will not let you have an easy time. Don't worry, Tiger Lord. I'm here to cooperate with you. Su Yun's face finally revealed a smile. I'm not here to fight with you. Chapter 802. Su Yun drove behind the other two cars, while Luo Xing sat in the car behind Su Yun's car. Under the lead of the first car, they headed towards Wang Longhuang's mansion in Lunan, which was known as the emperor's temporary imperial residence. In the car, little Dongbei asked curiously, Brother Yin, why are you so sure that Wang Longhuang will meet us? What if he doesn't want to cooperate with us? Wouldn't we be in danger? You said that he's powerful and you're not his match. Are we doing the right thing? What if he changes his mind? What should we do? He won't change his mind. If he wants to deal with us, with his position in Lunan, he won't use such methods to deal with us. Su Yun said, I know what he needs, so I believe that he'll be willing to cooperate with us. How do you know? Little Dongbei was still too naive. Su Yun smiled and saw a fountain pen in the central control storage. He picked it up and handed it to little Dongbei. Let me give you a simple example. If you want to cooperate with me and let me use this pen to write, what would you do? Me. Little Dongbei held the fountain pen and played with it as he said, I'll say Brother Yin, this pen is really useful. It's really smooth when you write. You can try it. I guarantee that you'll write down the most awesome life experiences. Things like if you love me, please love me deeply, or cherish me. It won't be the same if you use this pen to write. What you said isn't what I need. Su Yun said. I can write it or not. You can't be sure if I'll agree or not, right? It's like how you can't be sure what Wang Longhuang will do to us. You can't be sure. Yes. I really can't be sure. Little Dongbei nodded and passed the fountain pen to Su Yun. Brother Yin, what do you have to do to be sure that I'll definitely use this fountain pen to write? Su Yun took the fountain pen and smiled. Can you give me an autograph? I don't have a pen. Little Northeast was stunned. He didn't understand why Su Yun wanted an autograph. The next second, Su Yun tossed the pen to little Dongbei. There's one here. Little Northeast opened his mouth wide. This was the difference between them. Only when you need to write, I will give you this pen. Then, you will definitely use this pen to write. Su Yun said. It's like Wang Longhuang wants to know how his two traitors died. That's why he's willing to cooperate with us. Although this is also a gamble, my chances of winning are higher. You'll tell him. Little Northeast nodded in realization. Su Yun smiled. Of course. Not only do we have to tell him, but we also have to cooperate with him. That's because I'm certain that even if it's a traitor under his command, Wang Longhuang wouldn't want anyone else to deal with it. If he knew that his two traitorous subordinates were instigated by someone and were killed by someone, he would definitely want revenge. However, if the opponent's strength was above his, he would naturally need to find a helper. That way, when I stand in front of him, I don't have to worry about him not cooperating with me. That's because he has his own needs. We won't just ask him for help. After Su Yun said this, Little Northeast instantly felt that it was much simpler. Brother Yin, you've already thought about it. That's why I don't want to have any conflicts or arguments with him. Once there's a conflict, our cooperation won't be so friendly, Su Yun said. After driving for more than an hour, Su Yun and Little Northeast finally saw Lunan's luxurious villa, which was known as the Emperor's Palace. This place was like a natural oxygen bar in today's smoggy city. Green vegetation filled one's eyes, giving people a very comfortable feeling. The Emperor's Palace occupied almost the entire place with unique scenery. The two huge chelants at the entrance looked majestic. Wang Longhuang probably liked the feeling of being the emperor, because in his courtyard, there were dragon-shaped elements everywhere. There were dragon totems on the steel fence of the courtyard, and there were two dragon pillars on both sides of the villa's door. The villa occupied a huge area. Not only did it have its own backyard, Su Yun even saw his own fishing pond in the corner. Anyone who came here would probably sigh with emotion. What a grand style. Little Northeast saw such a luxurious residential building, and couldn't close his mouth for a long time. No wonder this guy was called the Emperor of Lunan. He lived like an emperor. It was a little too exaggerated. After Luo Xing got off the car, He led Su Yun and Little Northeast into the villa that was comparable to a palace. When they entered the foyer, the mattress under their feet was actually a whole white tiger skin. The materials used to decorate the house were all made of rare wood that was even more expensive than gold. What was the most expensive decoration nowadays? Of course, it was Chinese style. Now, even little kids knew that they weren't afraid of not having enough money at home. They were only afraid of not having good furniture at home. Not to mention this villa that was called the Emperor's temporary imperial residence. Even if it was a Chinese-style decoration, it would at least cost 200,000 to 300,000 rosewood furniture, right? That wasn't something an ordinary family could afford. Not to mention this villa. In this villa, even low-end wood like rosewood wasn't chosen. Wait a moment. Luo Xing looked at the time. The Emperor is practicing calligraphy in the study room. He doesn't want to be disturbed at this time. He's not eating lunch and going for an afternoon nap. He's actually practicing calligraphy? Little Northeast felt that it was really rare. Luo Xing glanced at Little Northeast. The Emperor is very particular about his health now. Every day he eats at 8 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. At 9 in the evening, he only needs a simple bird's nest and shark's fin soup for supper. How can he be like you ordinary people who eat 3 meals a day and eat on time? Perhaps eating this way was indeed a good choice for his health, but how many people could do it? Eating breakfast at 8? People who went to work were already squatting in the office, and people who went to school had already finished their morning self-study. Su Yun wasn't in a hurry. It was within his expectations that Wang Longhuang would put on airs. After all, this guy really treated himself as the emperor. After so many years of living habits, it wasn't something that could be accommodated just because he arrived. He walked to the sofa that was made of some unknown wood spirit, and studied the dragon carvings that were everywhere in the room. Even the top of the sofa's wooden armrest was carved with a lifelike dragon's head. Luo Xing stood at the side and didn't have the intention to make tea. He didn't feel like he was receiving a guest at all. It was like, well, a minister going to see the emperor, and could only wait at the side. Su Yun didn't wait for Wang Longhuang to speak, and sat on the sofa. He seemed to be the first person in this villa since the beginning of time. Little Northeast looked around for a while. Seeing that Luo Xing's gaze was fixed on him, he felt very uncomfortable. He sat beside Su Yun and whispered, "Brother Yun, are we just going to wait like this?" Chapter 803. 20 minutes later, Wang Longhuang finally appeared in front of Su Yun and Lil Dongbei. Just as Su Yun expected, he waited longer than Su Yun expected. This seemed to be an invisible signal to Su Yun, warning Su Yun that he, Wang Longhuang, wasn't in a hurry to know the news Su Yun brought. He wanted Su Yun to not take this matter too seriously. "You're Su Yun." Wang Longhuang walked to the sofa opposite Su Yun and sat down. He said indifferently, "If you have anything to say, then get straight to the point. I'll give you half an hour. After half an hour, I need to eat. I don't want anyone to disturb me." Wasn't this a little too arrogant? Although Su Yun could still maintain a smile on his face, Lil Dongbei wasn't happy. He frowned and said, "No matter what, we have the news you need. We're all guests here. Is this how you treat your guests? We're not your subordinates." But in Wang Longhuang's eyes, everyone in London was his subordinates. Su Yun raised his hand to signal Lil Dongbei not to be impulsive. This place wasn't their home ground. If Wang Longhuang wanted to do anything, they really didn't have a good way to deal with him. They didn't come here to cause trouble for themselves. Su Yun already had enough trouble. Son of London's aura is indeed extraordinary. Su Yun smiled. "Actually, you don't have to make us wait that long. I know that I can't take this secret too seriously. Also, I want to make it clear that I came to London to work with you, not to make enemies. Of course, I have my own temper too. If you don't care, then I don't think I need to stick my hot face to your cold butt." Wang Longhuang's lips curled up slightly. His gaze met with Su Yun's. He could feel that Su Yun's state of mind wasn't good. It could even be said that with Su Yun's strength, he could also dominate a region like him. "I asked my people to invite you here. Didn't I already make my attitude clear?" Su Yun nodded. "I'll make it clear again. I'm here to work with you, not to beg you for anything. If you don't need it, then I can leave. Of course, you know that if you want to stop me, then you'll have to pay a price. Isn't that right? Wang Longhuang laughed and said, Good. You're bold. There aren't many young people like you nowadays. Luo Xing stared at Wang Longhuang's reaction in astonishment. All these years, no one had ever spoken to him in such a tone of voice. It's a pleasure to have friends from afar. It's true that my people have neglected our guests. Wang Longhuang waved his hand at Luo Xing. You didn't even prepare a cup of tea. Aren't you neglecting my guests? Yes. Luo Xing nodded heavily. He immediately asked the servants to prepare tea. In this villa, it was definitely the first time that Wang Longhuang treated other people in the same way as a guest. One had to know that even his loyal right-hand man for so many years couldn't even drink a sip of water in the emperor's palace. What Wang Longhuang wanted the most was the feeling of being high above others. No one could ever be on the same level as him. But today he made an exception. Su Yin knew very well that the reason Wang Longhuang made an exception and gave up the feeling of being the only one under 10,000 people was definitely not because of his so-called boldness. It showed that Wang Longhuang still cared a lot about his betrayal. He didn't care about the lives of the two people who betrayed him. What he cared about was the person who instigated them to betray him and cleaned up his family without his consent. After the high-quality Yunnan pu'er tea was served, it emitted a tempting aroma. Su Yun and Lil Dongbei didn't stand on ceremony. They drank as they were thirsty. Wang Longhuang had a faint smile on his face. Su Yun, we've drunk the tea and become friends. Can you tell me the name you know now? Su Yun didn't intend to test Wang Longhuang's patience. He put down the teacup and casually said two words, Lung Chun. Wang Longhuang's expression froze when he heard the two words. Luo Xing was even more shocked. His eyes revealed a look of disbelief. Which Lung Chun? Is there a second person in the world? Su Yun raised his eyebrows. Even if there's someone with the same name, if it's not the person you're thinking of, why would I need to come here to find you? Hell King Lung Chun was one of the 7 kings. Wang Longhuang's expression was somewhat serious. In Hua Xia's underground world, there weren't many people he was afraid of. The 3 kings and 7 kings were definitely not to be trifled with. Other than them, there really wasn't anyone else that he was afraid of. However, Su Yun threw out Hell King Lung Chun as soon as he opened his mouth. This was completely out of Wang Longhuang's expectations. Of course, he didn't suspect Su Yun at all. This was because he had thought that if the 2 traitors had sided with someone else, he would have found them long ago. He wouldn't have come up empty-handed after so many years. The only explanation was that the 2 traitors had sided with someone he couldn't afford to offend and couldn't investigate. Son of Heaven! I suspect that this brat is deliberately trying to sow discord. Luo Xing said. Lung Chun is the most notorious of the 7 kings. Who knows if he's just making up lies to cause trouble for us? Wang Longhuang raised his hand to signal Luo Xing not to mess with his thoughts. Luo Xing choked on his words and could only swallow them. If you suspect that I have ulterior motives, I can understand, Su Yun said, but this doesn't benefit me at all. Why would I do this? Wang Longhuang met Su Yun's gaze and said, Give me a reason to believe you. Lung Chen arranged for your subordinates, Miao Dao and Hu Lai, to kill me, Su Yun said. Is this reason enough? Although these words were so simple, Wang Longhuang couldn't see any reaction to the lie in Su Yun's eyes. This brat really wasn't simple. He was more powerful than he had imagined. After all, what kind of status was Lung Chen? How could someone who could offend him and be hunted down by him and still stand in front of him alive and well be an ordinary person? Yes. Wang Longhuang nodded. But I'm afraid you found the wrong person. I won't provoke the Netherworld King because of 2 traitors. Su Yun stood up when he heard this. Then I can only blame myself for making an error in judgment. It turns out that the person who calls himself the Emperor of Southern Lu has such courage. Wang Longhuang, it seems like you're not as dignified as others say. At least, you're not so strict with traitors. Luo Xing didn't want Wang Longhuang to provoke Lung Chen. He said sternly, This is our emperor's matter. There's no need for outsiders to interfere. If we don't kill one to warn the others, we'll only attract more traitors. Suyin smiled and said, "The tea is good. Thank you." After saying this, Suyin stood up and prepared to leave with Little Northeast. You're tuning into the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.